of national unity, President Cyril Ramaphosa has attempted to paint a picture of optimism for the country despite the many hardships faced by ordinary South Africans. In his speech last night, Ramaphosa said the nation has reached a turning point and that it's leaving behind an era of decline. But he's also reiterated his warning from last year that South Africa stands firm on its sovereignty and will not allow itself to be bullied. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says the country is stronger today than it was a year ago. He says the government of national unity has demonstrated that it is possible for South Africans to work together across the political divide towards a common agenda of growth and progress. However, despite 4 consecutive quarters of economic growth, Ramaphosa admits this has to happen faster.
Now is not the time to rest. Now is the time for all South Africans to be part of taking our country forward.
On foreign policy, Ramaphosa says South Africa will forge strong partnerships with like-minded countries to respond to global disruptions.
We are clear that we will continue to respect the rights and sovereignty of other nations. But we must be equally clear that we will not be bullied by any other country in the world.
Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Senior IPID investigator Nomsa Masuku maintains that if police in Duduza on the East Rand had informed the watchdog immediately about Emmanuel Mbense's murder, they could have thoroughly investigated the scene themselves. Masuku wrapped up her testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday into Mbense's death. Mbense was killed allegedly by members of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department in 2022, and his body was later found in a lake in Germiston. He had been linked to a business robbery in Boksburg. During his testimony at the inquiry before he was killed, Marius van der Merwe, known as Witness D, alleged that he was ordered to dispose of Mbense's body after he was tortured to death. Masuku told the commission that IPID's finding out about Mbense's murder weeks after the incident derailed their investigation.
Even if I got it after 2 days, there was already time lost because I need to be at that scene before the body can be collected. I need to be able to investigate whatever that might help me on that scene before the scene is being contaminated. So for me, if I get it after 2 days, it's too late for me. The investigation will go like this case now.
IPID says it has finally concluded its investigation into Mbense's death almost 4 years after his murder. Lawyers for alleged crime boss Vusmuzi Matlala have told the Johannesburg High Court that he's eager for the trial to go ahead so he can prove his innocence. Matlala, his wife Tsakani, and their 3 co-accused returned to the High Court yesterday on attempted murder charges. They are accused of planning and executing 3 botched hits, including one on Matlala's ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane. Khomotso Modise reports.
Over the last court appearances, lawyers for Vusmuzi Matlala have repeated how eager the alleged crime boss is to prove his innocence. Yesterday, his advocate Annelien van der Heever repeated this as she asked the court to allow Matlala to be brought to the Johannesburg High Court on Monday and Tuesday so that they can consult without any restrictions.
My client wishes this trial to go ahead. He's innocent and he wants to prove his innocence in court.
But instead, Judge William Karam has ordered the head of prison at Kgosimampuru to allow Matlala to consult with his lawyers without any obstruction. Meanwhile, the court also heard that Matlala will stay at the Kgosimampuru prison at least until Tuesday and not the eBongweni super maximum prison where he was transferred to in December. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And Canadian authorities say the teenage suspects in a mass shooting had been the subject of police visits in recent years because of mental health issues. Police say the 18-year-old was found dead on the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, killed 8 people, including 6 children, in Tuesday's attack at a school in British Columbia. The suspect's mother and her stepbrother were also found dead at a nearby home where the attack began. Jesse von Rotzler had previously been apprehended and assessed under the Mental Health Act and used to have a gun license, but it's unclear who owned the weapons used in the attack or what was the motive. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says he will visit the mountain town in the coming days.
Our officials are in close contact with the provincial and local counterparts to ensure that the community receives every support that we can provide now and in the weeks and months ahead. There'll be important questions to ask, difficult conversations to have. We owe that to the victims and their families.
Gold is trading at $4,976.06 an ounce. The rand is at 15.96 to the dollar, 21.74 to the pound, 18.94 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.65 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Melrose, we've got delays on the M1 North. This is just as you approach Caller Drive. Roadworks are causing these delays. Please be on the lookout there. And then there's peak time delays in the city of Tshwane R80 East as you approach Eskom Pahlele Drive.
And in your sport, Arsenal slip in the title race held 1-1 by Brentford last night. Proteas women take on Pakistan in the second T20 in Benoni late this afternoon. And Ernie Els will play at the Investec SA Open at the end of the month.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers and thundershowers expected. Johannesburg starting at 16 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 18 and 28. Vereeniging 17 and 27. The top story in EWN this hour. In his second State of the Nation address under a government of national unity, President Cyril Ramaphosa has attempted to paint a picture of optimism for the country despite the many hardships faced by ordinary South Africans.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Your brain's a well-oiled machine. Now put it to work in the brain of 702. Enter on PrimeMediaPlus.com. T's and C's apply.
Celebrating the power of radio.
How far it's come and the voices that bring us together.
World Radio Day on 702.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 6 o'clock, it is a Friday. It's Friday the 13th. That's meant to be a bad luck day. There'll be mysterious forces, winds in the night, things that make you go, Darkness spreads across the land.
I think you're making KJ uncomfortable.
The midnight hour is close at hand. Do you believe in these odd days?
Nightmare.
So it's not a Christmas, it's not a New Year's, it's just Friday the 13th. Tomorrow's Valentine's, as if that wasn't enough of a nightmare. Do you have a Valentine? Are there any conventions now around Valentine's Day? Amo, do women get to ask men to be their Valentines? Is that now a thing? Is that allowed?
No, according to me,
No?
please, no, let's keep it to the guys.
Why can't you ask me to be a Valentine?
No. You
Muteo,
must ask me.
you don't want to be asked to be a Valentine?
Definitely want to be asked to be a Valentine.
Thank
Why
you.
not?
Why
not?
don't you ask us, Amo?
It's nice when it's the guy who does it.
Yes, I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah.
You
But
know
naturally
that
we want to be asked.
There's cost implications when you ask.
Is that what
that
it is?
why?
Do you care for Valentines? Let us know. 072 702 1702. Do you care about Friday the 13th? These odd days? Welcome to 702 Breakfast. My name is Bongani Bingwa. I'm with my colleagues, Amo Ramila, Muteo Kharipe, Ropfiwa, and Samtanda, the producers. KG starting the clock. It's a show.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
On our menu today, as always on a Friday, we bring you the political desk looking at the week that was. The big story, no doubt, too, actually, the State of the Nation address last night, of course, and the promises the president made. And I'm keen to know your reaction to what you have heard. And in case you were asleep or having dinner or putting the kids down or whatever it is you were doing, we'll play you some clips throughout the show of what the president committed to yesterday, including deploying the army to fight illegal mining, to fight gangs in the Western Cape, all sorts of promises and directives issued by the president, including a task team, yet another task team to look into the water crisis. He is going to chair it. They're going to report directly to him. He wants movement in 3 months. We'll speak to Ferial Haffajee about that and looking at the water issues and what comes next. So that's our political desk. And what we thought we would do, and this was a suggestion, by the way, on X by one of the 702 landers who tweeted me, who said, why don't we get people who know about the water crisis. I could get the minister on. Maybe we'll have a gotcha moment. Peter du Toit has a delicious word that he uses in his book, talking about Paul Mashatile. And he says he's unserious. And it's a word I've picked up, I've been using since. Unserious. That's my sense of Phemi Majodina. Those outfits, it just feels to me that everything around her seems to be a joke, right? And so I see her as somebody who is unserious. And I wonder if this task isn't too mammoth for somebody whose public persona comes across as unserious. So what we've decided to do, instead of the minister, let's talk to people who are water experts. So we've invited Chris Campbell, who's the CEO of Consulting Engineers South Africa. We've also brought in Professor Mike Muller from the South African Institution of Civil Engineering, the Water Division Committee. Professor Mike Muller is a former Director General of the Department of Water and Sanitation. It was Water Affairs in those days. I've interviewed him many a time. These are experts. We'll drill down to that 400 billion rand figure that the minister says she needs to be able to repair infrastructure. And with this task team, what honestly could be achieved in the 3 months the president has laid out. That's our big interview today. And then we'll tell you about Love in the Air. Gauteng's Lions Cricket are going to Soweto for Valentine's Day. Huh?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
That's on our menu today. But if I did not do this next bit, there are many 702 landers whose Friday would indeed turn out to be the 13th, if you know what I mean. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. There we go, with that business out of the way. Our shout out today is this. What is a job you admire but you wouldn't do? What's a job you admire, you think it's noble, you love it for the people who can do it, they are definitely necessary, but you think, ooh, shame. There are people, for example, who can't stand the sight of blood. So they love nurses, they appreciate doctors and people in the medical space, right? They love emergency workers. Paramedics, that's the word I'm looking for, emergency workers, but not for them. There are people who understand the importance of policing, but they don't want to be anywhere near a gun. You love the animals on television, at the zoo, you never work as a ranger. What is a job you admire but you wouldn't do? Amo?
I think it's criminal psychologists. I really admire them. Just the way they're able to tap into the mind of the wrongdoer at that time to be able to say this crime occurred because of this and this, the state of mind they were in and their mental health and all of that. But I don't think it's a job that I would easily do, along with early childhood development. I'm sorry. I mean,
Not
I
for
love
you. You don't have the patience.
I don't think I have the.
But you're such a great mom.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I
You
don't
have the patience for your own.
I don't think I've got the patience to. The idea that you would be the first person to teach this child how to read, how to identify words, how to identify animal. It's for me. It's daunting.
You'd be saying, how is that a lion? How is that a lion? That's a donkey. How do you not see that's a donkey? Would you be those people?
I hope not, but...
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Mutheo, a job you admire, but you wouldn't do?
Admire the guys that fix the power lines. Look, it's a great job for them, going all the way up there, knowing the many, many vaults that are so dangerous. Admire that, but never, ever would do that. And the second one is being a first responder. Only because my cousin is a paramedic, and the stories he's told me, I was like, nah, no, you can keep that job. There's no way.
I want us to listen to what we heard, and you just heard a little bit of it in the news from Nomsa Masuku, the lead investigator in that Emmanuel Mbenze case. Remember, of course, Emmanuel Mbenze was allegedly killed by members of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department in April 2022. It's understood that he'd been implicated in a robbery that went wrong, and that, in fact, his truck had been used in the commission of that crime. And it really appears all of this boils down to, and I don't want to use the word interrogation, but let's say interrogation gone wrong. That's what it seems to be. And then all the efforts subsequently to try and cover up that original, that crime, right? The disposal of his body was found in a dam. He still had his driver's license on him. And so Nomsa Masuku was the lead investigator looking into that case. What happened to this guy? And obviously, because Metro police officers are implicated, they didn't want her to succeed. Have a listen to the chilling information she shared with the Madlanga Commission yesterday.
We do go under very serious threats on a daily basis when we're doing our investigations, because we investigating the law enforcement officers that commit crime and they don't want to be arrested. My car was once shot at. I was with my kids. It passed. I continued with my duties as normal. But there is a time where my son was also shot. We thank God he didn't pass on, but his life changed from that day, because he was wheelchair bound.
This was the second incident.
My son was the first incident,
Yeah.
and then my car was the second incident.
All right.
Hey? The son had nothing to do with the job. They were trying to get to the mother, trying to shoot the mother, and they got the son and left him wheelchair bound. And she's still doing the job. And she has this passion for it. And she's a very serious, thoughtful person. And you just look at her and you think, how could somebody go after somebody so dedicated and committed to their job? She went on to tell us that as investigators, they face these kinds of threats daily. It didn't end just because they put her son in a wheelchair. They didn't say, oh, okay, we've done too much. They continue. How would you continue doing a job under those circumstances?
It didn't stop me from doing my duties. I continued as I'm continuing even today. So I just wanted to relate to the commissioners and South Africa to know, to say, if they see delays like this in the cases that we do, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Every case is got an explanation as to what is the reason you took that delay. We at IPID that are investigating law enforcement officers. Commissioner, I had in court, because I was scared of the guy, of the members, I don't want to lie, but I had to put a brave face and face them and said to them, I heard what you're planning. Here's my home address. If you need me, come to my house and find me there. And then I left them. But when I left them, I asked myself as to, if they come, what am I going to do?
Wow. How hectic is that? She looked them in the eyes. You want me? Come get me. Leave my kids out of it. Leave my family out. You want me? Here's the address. Come. Eyeball to eyeball. But inside she's thinking, yo, if they come, what will I do? How much has this Madlanga Commission woken you up to the reality of the country we live in that you perhaps didn't know or didn't realize was as hectic as what we are hearing? Is there a job you admire but wouldn't do?
Let's walk the talk.
702.
20 after 6. Mateo Haripa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, do you have home remedies that keep the ailments away, just so you make sure you don't spend too much on medicine and hit your medical savings?
Borsdruppels.
Okay.
You know those little bottles?
Yeah.
Those yellow bottles. What are they called, Amo? They often use them with babies for colic and things like that. And they've got a range of remedies. Borsdruppels?
Yes.
Is it Lehman's?
Lennon's.
Right? That's the brand. Mix it with honey, cough gone, and lemon.
So Lennon's, lemon.
Borsdruppels.
Yeah, the Borsdruppels.
So the brand is Lennon's.
Okay.
The thing is called Borsdruppels.
And the portions?
Triples. It's little drops.
Little drops.
Borsdruppels.
So not half the bottle.
No,
okay.
no, don't do that.
All right.
Lemon and honey.
Amo?
Your voice will sound as smooth as this on a Monday.
For dry skin, especially during the winter period, I use the alu, as in the natural alu gel. You cut the alu leaf, the top part of it, and you put it on your skin. It works as a good moisturizer and a remedy for eczema.
We used to mix glycerine with normal hand and body lotion as kids.
Yeah.
It dawn.
I'm sure there are people that still do that.
Remember it dawn?
Yes.
We'd mix it
Very
dawn with
nostalgic.
glycerine.
Yeah.
As a kid. I'm curious about what prompts that question.
702.
Weather.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng. Showers and thunder showers are expected. Temperatures a little lower today, but cooler. Joburg peaking at 26, Pretoria 28, Vereeniging 27 degrees. Cape Town, maxes at 24 degrees, Durban 29.
EWN Traffic.
Now, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. Make your move this Valentine's. Book your romantic getaway at flysaa.com.
Well, Bongani, we've got delays on the M1 North. This is between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. That's due to peak time delays there. There's also peak time delays reported in Eldorado Park along the N12 East. This is between Klipspruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway. And if you're traveling in the city of Tshwane, queuing traffic along the R80 East approaching Eskom Patlele Drive, please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Valentine's weekend is here, and this is your sign. Make the move. What did Shalimar say? Make that move right now, baby. South African Airways has amazing fares to your favorite destinations. Fly to Cape Town from just 1,144 Rand, Durban from 690, and Gqeberha from 655. And that's just the beginning. Explore even more destinations at flysaa.com. Make the move. Surprise your loved one. Make it a Valentine's weekend to remember, hey? Book now at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agency.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, 702. Just to answer on Mateo's question, lemon water, we call it in my house. That's lemon, garlic, ginger, that combination boiled together. Put that in a 2-liter bottle. Have it for the next 2-3 days. Make another one. Look, when it gets cooler in the year or it gets a bit cold, and the flu season starts, lemon water, that's the best. In the East Rand.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Deboko in the Israel, appreciate those voice notes. Keep them coming. I also want to know if you are calling or WhatsApping us for the first time. I understand how much it can take for somebody doing it for the first time. So I'm really keen to know if you are sending us your first WhatsApp, or indeed if you've been a long-time listener, sending us messages and calling us over the years. Now, things you need to know at this hour. How much do you care about where the clothes you wear were made? Major South African retailers, including the Mr. Price Group, Pick n Pay, and Pepkor, have launched investigations after their brand labels were found in alleged sweatshops in Newcastle in KZN. The factories in questions are accused of producing clothing in hazardous and possibly unlawful conditions and it's prompted parliamentary scrutiny and calls for accountability. And of course, the retailers are now questioning their own suppliers as to where and how they make the clothes that they buy. Thought that was an interesting story. What makes good radio? What makes you stay listening to radio? When television was invented, they said radio would be finished. It's still here. When the internet was invented and social media, they said radio was finished. When podcasts came, they told us, particularly this form of radio, was finished. We're still here, baby. What makes good radio for you? It's World Radio Day today, first proclaimed by UNESCO in 2011 and adopted by the United Nations the following year. And the idea is about honoring broadcasters for informing the public, elevating diverse voices, and telling stories across the globe. The 2026 theme emphasizes that while AI can enhance radio when used responsibly, genuine trust comes from the broadcasters, not the technology itself. So I want to know, what do you most appreciate about radio in your life? Is it music, conversation, the sense of companionship that keeps you tuned in? And do you have a favorite radio memory or moment that still stands out? Later in the Worldview with Adam Gilchrist, we'll hear about what's going to happen or what's expected to happen in North Korea. The leader, Kim Jong-un, it would appear, has designated his 13-year-old daughter to be his successor. She's been seen at military parades, attends political meetings, and at 13 years old is already being seen as the country's second most powerful leader. More details on that from Adam Gilchrist. And on this day in 2000, the final Peanuts strip was published worldwide, making it the 17,897th installment of the beloved comic. It was appeared in newspapers the day after the death of its creator, Charles M. Schulz. Boyz II Men have announced a South African tour with 3 shows scheduled for May 2026. They'll perform in Cape Town and in Pretoria at the Sunbet Arena. One of my producers shared, I work with producers who are significantly younger than I am. Raphiwa was saying she was singing these Boyz II Men songs as a kid because they were popular. Like this one. You know when you sing along as a kid and then you grow up and you listen to the lyrics and you think, I had no business singing those songs at 10 years old? Is there a song like that, a group like that, whose music you've loved your entire life, but now that you know what they were actually saying, you're going, you? And shame, you know, our parents didn't know these songs. Throw your clothes on the floor. You?
702.
The newspapers.
Mr. Zulu, of course, you were always singing gospel songs. You were a good kid. You didn't sing any naughty songs at all when you were a kid. Not at all.
Not at all.
What's grabbing your attention in the papers?
The Irish Independent today is talking about how fathers in Ireland are taking time off from work. So this is basically a story about the average hours that are being worked in Ireland. They have fell by 6.5% between 2019 and 2024. And no, it's not because of there's no jobs or unemployment. It's just that fathers who have young children are taking more time off to spend time at home, to spend time with their children and do household duties and time off for leisure. But in contrast, mothers of older children are increasing their working hours. So they're going back to work because now their children are old.
A little bit
they're
older.
Spending more time at work. But fathers, on the other hand, are spending time at home.
The Citizen will water pull plug on ANC. President Cyril Ramaphosa's pre-Sona scramble by sending 2 ministers to help Josie's water crisis may be too little, too late to save his party, says The Citizen. The Mail and Guardian has the president's picture from last night's Sona. Cyril talks tough. Same story, really, on the front page of the Business Day. The president on the front page. Crime gangs in crosshairs. Army to flush out Zamazamas, says the Sowetan.
EWN.
Muteo wants to know about our favorite home remedies, those that help common ailments away. What prompts the question?
Bongani, the Competition Commission is investigating several pharmaceutical companies, including Ascendis, PharmaQ and Sonke, following a complaint from the health department. The probe is looking into possible collusive tendering, where the companies might be working together to fix the price of medicines or rotate bids. Ascendis Pharma is owned by Austell Pharmaceuticals. PharmaQ is partly owned by the Indian pharmaceutical manufacturer Micro Labs, while Sonke is a subsidiary of Indian generic drug maker Sun Pharma. All three companies supply medicines to the state. According to Invest SA, of the 265 South African pharmaceutical manufacturers, more than half exclusively supply the private sector, while 10% exclusively supply the public health sector. Now, medical inflation in the country is already significantly high, outpacing a normal inflation of 4.5%. The medical inflation in South Africa is at 9.5%. South Africa actually spends around 8 to 9% of GDP on healthcare, and largely those costs are around medicine. So a Competition Commission trying to find out whether the state firstly is not being duped, but I expect them to extend it to the private sector as well, because we do spend a lot on medicines.
Paying just to stay alive, as the song goes. Where's the rand?
15 Rand 97, week up by 10 cents. You asked me to mark the rand yesterday before the Sona.
Yeah, it was 15.87.
Yeah, it's now 15.97. At 18 Rand 95 against the euro, 21 Rand 75 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,980 an ounce. It's up 1% this morning. Platinum at $2,028. Brent crude at $67.45 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go. Good morning again, Sfisa Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Despite its frustration with the International Relations Department's foreign policy, the Freedom Front Plus says it's still committed to the government of national unity. In recent weeks, the FF Plus has publicly condemned government stance on matters related to Venezuela and Iran. It's also remained opposed to recently signed legislation such as the National Health Insurance Bella Act and the Expropriation Act. The ANC has criticized parties in the GNU, it says, act like they are in opposition. Speaking on the sidelines of the State of the Nation address last night, FF Plus leader Corne Mulder said disagreements within a 10-party coalition are normal.
Current status is that we are a member of the GNU. We are in the executive. We are doing our job in the executive. Dr. Groenewald is the Minister of Corrections and he's doing a sterling job. And that is the way it should be. But there's no reason why the party should now suddenly become quiet in terms of what the party stands for. Obviously, we are different parties in the GNU with different policy statements. And there are many things I think that the ANC also does not agree with. That's their prerogative.
Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane says she feels betrayed by democratic South Africa. Simelane has fought unsuccessfully for years to have those responsible for the disappearance of her sister Nokuthula Simelane prosecuted. The minister was the first witness to testify before the TRC cases inquiry, probing allegations of political interference in apartheid-era prosecutions. The inquiry stalled for 9 months due to administrative delays and several recusal applications. It's believed her sister Nokuthula disappeared in 1983 while on a mission for the ANC in Eswatini. The minister told the inquiry that she and 25 other families deserve the truth and justice.
We feel betrayed. I feel betrayed myself as well. The state has betrayed us. I'd hope the old system may not do anything, but I'd hope that the new system will at least give me the truth, which is what the TRC promised us. Nothing else, just the truth. It is and it has been a very lonely journey.
A legal battle between a former high school principal and the Western Cape Education Department is set to proceed in the Labour Court today. The department dismissed Heathfield High School principal Wesley Newman during the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic for refusing to open the school during the national lockdown despite the department's directives. Newman is set to approach the Labour Court today to enforce a recent ruling in favour of his reinstatement. Carlo Peterson reports.
Special Action Committee Education spokesperson Warren Hermanus says the Labour Court's ruling to reinstate Wesley Newman as principal of Heathfield High School affirms the Western Cape Education Department's case against Newman lacks merit.
Despite these clear judicial pronouncements, the WCED has continued to delay compliance, unnecessarily prolonging a matter that has already caused significant harm to Mr. Newman and instability within the Heathfield High community.
Concerns raised by the department in its answering affidavit includes allegations of bullying staff and financial irregularities. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And Japanese authorities say they have seized a Chinese fishing vessel that tried to flee when ordered to stop for an inspection in a move that may further fuel tensions with Beijing. The country's fisheries agency says the boat was in Japan's exclusive economic zone in the southwest when it was intercepted and its captain arrested yesterday. The seizure is the first time since 2022 that the agency has captured a Chinese fishing boat. China has yet to react to Japan's statements. A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 16 and 18 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 28.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes on the Mark 1 North. This is between Boysons Road and Car Street. If you're heading towards the Joburg CBD at this point, it could take you about 40 minutes. And if you are traveling on the M2 West, also expect delays between Heidelberg Road and the Crown turnoff.
The top story this hour: despite its frustration with the International Relations Department's foreign policy, the Freedom Front Plus says it's still committed to the GNU.
News,
Conversation,
connection.
This is radio. World Radio Day on 702.
Mzansi, pick your 6 lucky numbers and play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 57 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Friday. Don't miss out. Play Powerball for an estimated 37 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 20 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa, with 1.6 billion rand unlocked for entrepreneurs through our Impact Finance Network and 25.9 billion rand invested through our Kumba Iron Ore business into infrastructure development, healthcare, community upliftment, and more. These are just a few examples that show when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. As a proud sponsor of the Investing in African Mining Indaba, we are working with our partners to unlock mining's full potential. South Africa has a partner, Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
This Valentine's weekend, Motor Select is giving you 3 days to find the one. That one car that just feels right. The one you can't stop thinking about. The one that comes with up to 70,000 Rand cash back. You've got 3 days, 12 to 14 February. Visit motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership to find the one and make it official. T's and C's apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
At the mining Indaba, more conversations about beneficiation and a suggestion, in fact, we should be looking to our own markets for the final product rather than beneficiating something to sell elsewhere.
The notion of beneficiation must be built on sound economics. We're not living in the Soviet Union. Arguably employing a China model that is not understood and certainly often misapplied, whereby the state must control and own. I think that's entirely incorrect.
Dr. Martin Davis.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, returning as proud investment theme sponsor of the African Mining Indaba 2026. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Coming up in the next hour, What's the Question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. Send us an answer based on something you heard in the show. For that, you win 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072-702-1702. Then later, someone will ask a question to get your answer and they'll walk away with 2,000 Rand. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you have SMS'd out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 45142. You could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani and team. This is Robin S.
The job that I admire guys doing, and possibly ladies, is the mortician. You know, the people that prepare the dead bodies for burial. Yeah, you know, I really admire those people, but unfortunately, you know, it's not for me.
Good morning, Bongani and 702 lenders. This is Theo from Eduduza. Look, Bongani, people who collect human dead bodies, pathology services. You know what, Bongani? These people, I so respect them, but I wouldn't do. It's something that I wouldn't do. But what they actually going through, yeah, it's yeah. You know what? They are something else. Have a good Friday.
Good morning, Bongan and the team. Yeah, I think I admire the same job as the lady there. Yeah, the criminal, whatever you call them, detectives. Yeah, those that they deal with criminals, like your Sherlock Holmes kind of a vibe. Yeah, I admire those. But I think I can do, in my case, I can do that job. I've been told that I have great minds for such, or being a lawyer. Thank you.
Well, it's not about whether you can do it. Sometimes you think, I wouldn't do it. We're talking about jobs you admire, you understand why they're necessary, you wouldn't do them. And what makes it interesting, we're talking, of course, in the wake of Nomsa Masuku, that IPID investigator. So remember, IPID is the Independent Police Directorate, right? So they look into alleged wrongdoing by police officers. You would think it's a slam dunk. Police officers are meant to be good people, right? How bad could it be? You would actually think, under normal circumstances, it's the police officers themselves who are in more danger because they go and investigate the criminals. Until, of course, it's the police who are the alleged criminals. They shot her son, put him in a wheelchair, and she has to go and face off with them in court. That voice note, that clip we played for you, where she says to them, come to my house, come get me if you want me. That was so chilling, wasn't it?
EWN Sport.
All throughout the season, Cindy Paluta, people have been saying, wait for that moment where you can finally exhale because Arsenal are not going to let it go. I'm afraid we're still holding our breath after last night.
You would be a silly person to not to let go of your breath until the very last minute in the English Premier League. If the last 4 or 5 seasons are anything to go by. So Arsenal failing to keep that 6-point lead in the Premier League. They were held 1-1 by Brentford last night. Lewis Potter cancelling out Madueke's goal. They're only 4 points ahead of Manchester City now. They're in action again on Sunday in the 4th round of the FA Cup. They'll play Wigan. Selected fixtures in the FA Cup tonight. Chelsea against Hull City. Tomorrow, Man City against Salford. Aston Villa plays Newcastle. Liverpool are playing Brighton. Back home, there's 2 games in the Betway Premiership tonight. Durban City are hosting TS Galaxy. Magesi takes on Arrows. The Proteas of women are in action today. They're playing Pakistan in a second T20. That match is in Benoni tonight. The Proteas beat Pakistan on the last ball of the match in the opening T20. Anne-Marie Dirksen on what they've highlighted as a problem.
Probably a little bit of pressure on us as a bowling unit. First run out for us of the year. There's a little bit of execution that we missed on. Spoken about it in some of our meetings. Spoke about a couple of plans. So hopefully in the next game we can improve on execution a bit.
At the T20 World Cup, 3 games yesterday, all with huge winning margins. India beat Namibia by 93 runs. Italy beat Nepal by 10 wickets. Sri Lanka with a 105-run win over Oman. This morning's action opens with Australia against Zimbabwe. That in an hour's time. And the Proteas have a huge game tomorrow. They're playing New Zealand. And in golf, Ernie Els has confirmed he'll play at the Investec SA Open Championships in Stellenbosch starting at the end of the month. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Hi, this is Alia Itzebet, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. A reminder that you can still shoot for the stars while playing responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counselling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Joburg Ballet presents Giselle, the most sublime of all the romantic ballets. It's at the Joburg Theatre, Thursday the 12th of February to Sunday the 15th of February, so it started last night. Giselle is a heart-rending story of love, very powerful. It lays bare a tale of passion, betrayal, and forgiveness. There'll be 2 Valentine's Day performances tomorrow at the Joburg Theatre at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Really the ideal opportunity to celebrate a romantic ballet with your Valentine. Later this month, on the weekend of the 20th, they'll be at the State Theatre in Pretoria. Book your tickets at webtickets.co.za.
Let's hear from Susan, owner of Leopard Song Manor, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We were with our previous insurer for 13 years. Switching made me aware of things that we weren't covered for. It was a quick process. I saved a lot of money.
For boutique hotels, catering companies, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hi, my name is Mukundi Rachivumo. I am 12 years old. I go to Kiro Aurora in Randburg, and I want to become a soccer player, and I am feeling very confident.
I want to know what your favorite team is, Mukundi, and can you win 10,000 Rand?
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
14 to 7, this EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. There's peak time delays everywhere, Amo.
That's correct, Bongani. If you are leaving Eldorado Park, we've got delays on the N12 East between Klipspruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway. And then heading towards the Joburg CBD, expect about a 40-minute hold-up along the Mike 1 North between Boysons Road and Car Street. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West between Heidelberg Road and the Crown Interchange. If you are traveling in the city of Tshwane, peak time pressure along the R80 East Mabopane Highway between the Hairpin Bend and Eskom Patlele Drive. Eskom Patlele Drive in itself is backed up. This is just as you approach the R101. I'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Love is in the air this month, but your friends won't be feeling the love if you're late for the book club. Well, fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are always there to ease traffic congestion so you can get to the venue on time. With the pointsmen on the roads for the past 20 years, we all can get to where we need to be quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
From the first broadcast to the voices you trust today.
Radio keeps you connected. World Radio Day on 702.
Government has published the draft revised white paper on citizenship, immigration, refugee protection, and now invites the public to submit comments. This policy will shape how immigration, citizenship, and refugee protection are managed in South Africa. Now is your chance to make your voice heard. For more information about the white paper, visit www.dha.gov.za. To submit your comments, email whitepaper@dha.gov.za. Submissions close on 15 February 2026. Have your say. Don't be left behind. Your input matters. Home Affairs, delivering dignity for all.
Get your brain in the game because the brain of 702 is back with your chance to flex your general knowledge smarts. 3,000 Rand up for grabs every day. Brain of the Week wins 10,000 Rand plus a spot in the finals to compete for the grand prize of 30,000 Rand. Enter on primemediaplus.com now and then catch 702 Breakfast with me, Bongani Bingwa, or Drive with John Polman for your chance to be the brain of 702.
All cars are designed to move. A Mazda is crafted to move you. Every line, every detail, form in motion, beauty with purpose. So that when you drive, you connect. Car and driver become one. One rhythm. Builds, holds, breaks free. The feeling will find you. Mazda. Wonder awaits.
If you missed President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address yesterday, join the Clement Manyatela show for Sona in 60 minutes. He'll break it down in an hour. This is happening this Friday at 10 a.m.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 7.
Time to give away some cash now, shall we? We're playing today with 12-year-old Mukundi who wants to be a footballer later on in life. What's your favorite team?
My favorite team is Barcelona.
Barcelona. And here in South Africa, are you Chiefs or Pirates?
Pirates.
Pirates. You see, I'm now happy to give you this 10,000 Rand. You support a good team, hey? Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Let's play the Whiz Quiz. KG, start the clock. Which season is between spring and autumn?
Winter.
Summer. Which city in South Africa is also known as the City of Gold?
Johannesburg.
Correct. What is 21 plus 15?
36.
Correct. True or false? In chess, kings can move in any direction.
False.
It's true. In movies, which ogre did Princess Fiona marry?
Correct.
Correct. How many vowels are there in the word quick?
2.
Correct. Which Spanish tennis player won the Australian Open men's singles title?
False.
Carlos Alcaraz. On which continent are the countries Peru and Chile?
South America.
Correct. And that's all the time we have to ask those questions. You didn't get through all 10, and you walk away, Mukundi, with 500 Rand. Remember, you must be age 10 to 13 to play the Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
702.
The Political Desk.
Looking back at the week that was, the front pages of the newspapers this morning, the Mail and Guardian, Cyril talks tough. Crime gangs in crosshairs, says the Business Day. Army to flush out Zamazamas, reads the Sowetan. That's really the big story of the hour. And of course, the water crisis. We're joined now by Ferial Haffajee, who is a veteran journalist. And of course, somebody who is the city's editor at the Daily Maverick. Always appreciate having you on our show. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani.
The president made some bold promises. What's your overall rating of this State of the Nation address?
I think I'd give it a good 7. I think that the tie is a big talking point, certainly in our newsroom. And I thought we'd have a far more downcast president because of Hotel Gate yesterday, because of how the water crisis boiled up on the eve of Sona. But in fact, he cut a very, I thought, a confident figure.
How much does it help him to have the coalition that we call the Government of National Unity, to know, for example, that he can count on the support of not only his caucus, but that of some of the major opposition political parties?
Enormously. I think when you've got a 10-party GNU, you do have buy-in, which I guess was the purpose of its formation. I thought that because this is an election year and because of how our political landscape goes, many of the parties were quite robust in their critique. One of my colleagues, Rebecca Davis, said, then why are they in the government? But I guess you do want that blend of buy-in while still keeping the largest party on its toes.
I'm going to let you listen to what he said about the water crisis and how he wants to personally chair a committee that will look into how to solve it. Have a listen.
We will now elevate our response to water crisis to a National Water Crisis Committee, which I will chair. The structure will bring together all existing efforts into a single coordinating body. The Deputy President has been working with a number of water authorities in the country, and we will coordinate all that to make sure that we address this problem. It will deploy technical experts and resources from national government to municipalities facing water challenges. It will ensure that action is taken swiftly and effectively to address the problem, to address the challenges effectively, we will not hesitate to use the powers that are enshrined in our Constitution and in the Water Services Act to intervene in municipalities where necessary.
He, of course, dispatched the ministers of Kokta and Water and Sanitation back to Gauteng. They weren't at Sona, but I noted with some interest that the Gauteng Premier was in the audience, even as he was making these pronouncements. Yet another crisis committee, yet another interministerial, yet another bomb squad. I think you tweeted something along those lines just before Sona. We've seen this movie before.
We have seen this movie before, and I wish I could play for you some of the letters that our audience had sent to us this week of exactly how not having water fractures your lives. I mean, we can see it, but when people send it to you in the numbers that they did, I found it, Bongani, truly heartbreaking to see at every single level what it does to people's psyches, what it does to their pockets, what it does to themselves when this goes on for years and for years and for years. So obviously the National Electricity Crisis Committee, that was the first stirrings of the reform, which have now meant that we don't have that same kind of handicapping load shedding we used to. So I think you have to ensure that the President has the space to implement the same kind of body that worked quite well then. Obviously in Joburg we've got 3 or 4 different kinds of structures. They clearly aren't talking to each other because we're not seeing the changes on the ground. And then my experience of the city is that if you don't change the governing bodies of the entities or the boards which supply water, then you have the same extractive patterns that I think has resulted in what we've seen, certainly in Joburg, but definitely in the rest of the country too.
Yeah, we've also heard some of the stories harrowing from people who have to
all week long.
Yeah, who have to operate businesses, from the elderly who have to queue for water. I mean, this has emerged as the most urgent crisis facing many communities. And yet, not many people, I would say, I think it's fair to say, not many people have confidence in the Minister of Water and Sanitation. I described her as somebody who seems unserious to me, to use Peter du Toit's word.
So I guess I watched all of you watching that press conference with the mayor who looked really tired or disinterested, then the minister, and then also the premier with the disastrous hotel gate that really eclipsed, if you wanted a national talking point, it eclipsed the Sona yesterday almost completely. So I do think the minister is serious about this. If you look at her years-long work with her Director General, Sean Phillips, and with the 2 deputies, there's a seriousness of intention there. That piece of legislation, the Water Services Amendment Bill, I think it's going to be an act soon or may indeed have been passed, as well as the National Water Infrastructure Agency. These are important and fundamental changes, but again, my experience is if you look at the board of Joburg Water, if you look at how the good people in the utility have been kneecapped because they can't buy parts, because that 4 billion rand gets swept to pay for salaries and other things in the central city, unless you don't have micro changes to go with the macro ones, we'll be sitting right back here in a year's time.
He also, of course, the president spoke about how the various processes underway looking at widespread corruption in the SAPs and Metro Police departments, those were an issue of concern. Are you happy with what he has said? Would you have wanted him, for example, to say something about the suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu?
So absolutely, I do think that while we do have these 2 commissions ongoing, I do think it would have been appropriate to perhaps ask the cabinet minister, and as well as to announce more quick and muscular actions with regards to what we're hearing quite horrifyingly almost every day.
Deploying the army to fight gangs and zamazamas, will that work?
You know, I have a very sharp colleague at the Daily Maverick called John Stupart. He's an expert in defense matters, and he says that we always applaud when this happens, but in fact the deployment of the army, it's just a a feel good for the rest of us. When this has been tried, doesn't work just because soldiers aren't trained to do that kind of work. They're not equipped to do that kind of work. But maybe just the mere presence to deal with crime, especially in ganglands, might be an important factor.
But how much is it also an admission that the police have failed?
It obviously is, and now we know every day why the police fail, because at the upper levels they're engaged in the malpractices which come to us on our screens almost live.
It's a tale of woe, is it not? Ferial Haffajee, always appreciate your time, veteran journalist, joining us for this week's Political Desk.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
We are looking, therefore, at the water crisis and what needs to be done. The president, of course, setting up this task team to look into the water crisis. We've brought in the engineers. They're going to tell us what could be achieved in the next 3 months.
This is EWN.
Tough action to be taken against municipal officials failing to deal with the water crisis, while Muslim faithfuls worry about what will happen during Ramadan.
Without us having water, how do we purify ourselves? How do we pray? How do we break our fast?
And Donald Trump has revoked the basis of the U.S. climate regulation. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. President Cyril Ramaphosa says government will soon go after municipal managers in their personal capacity for failing to ensure that there is steady water supply for residents. He says they've already taken action against several municipalities across the country who are unable to address water supply challenges in their towns and cities. Ramaphosa gave the undertaking during his State of the Nation address last night amid water supply shortages in some provinces. Babalondenze reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has vowed to take action against municipalities who fail to address ongoing water challenges. He says government has already laid criminal charges against 56 municipalities that have failed to meet their obligations.
We will now move to even lay charges against municipal managers for violating the National Water Act.
Ramaphosa says to address the growing water crisis, the government will use the same approach it used when it was dealing with the electricity crisis. He says he will be personally involved in resolving the water shortages, which have seen communities in places like Johannesburg go without water for weeks.
Using the same approach, we will now elevate our response to water crisis to a National Water Crisis Committee, which I will chair.
He says the crisis committee will bring together all existing efforts into a single coordinating body. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
While the president promises the crisis would be sorted out, some members of the Muslim community fear water outages may persist well into their fasting period. Residents in parts of Joburg South protested yesterday over a 4-day stretch with dry taps. They are worried Ramadan may begin next week and water would not have been restored. Ramadan is the fasting period from sunrise to sunset for members of the Muslim community, and it is set to begin on the 17th of February and end on the 19th of March. Yumna Haffajee says government is already denying them the right to water, but if they are still without supply, it would be a denial to practice their religion.
My main concern is that Ramadan is coming up in the next 7 days. We as Muslims, it is the most spiritual month for us. We wait every single year for this special occasions month. But now, without us having water, how do we purify ourselves? How do we pray? How do we break our fast?
Senior IPID investigator Nomsa Masugu maintains that if police in Duduza on the East Rand had informed the watchdog immediately about Emmanuel Mbense's murder, they could have thoroughly investigated the scene themselves. Masugu wrapped up her testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday into Mbense's death. Mbense was killed allegedly by members of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department in 2022, and his body was later found in a lake in Germiston. He had been linked to business robbery in Boksburg. During his testimony at the inquiry before he was killed, Marius van der Merwe, known as Witness D, alleged that he was ordered to dispose of Mbenza's body after he was tortured to death. Masuku told the commission that IPID finding out about Mbenza's murder weeks after the incident derailed their investigation.
Even if I got it after 2 days, there was already time lost because I need to be at that scene before the body can be collected. I need to be able to investigate whatever that might help me on that scene before the scene is being contaminated. So for me, if I get it after 2 days, it's too late for me. The investigation will go like this case now.
IPID says it has finally concluded its investigation into Mbenza's death almost 4 years after his murder. And the US has revoked a scientific finding that has long been the central basis for its actions to regulate greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change. The decision is the most aggressive move by President Donald Trump to roll back environmental regulations since the start of his second term. Under his leadership, the Environmental Protection Agency finalized a rule rescinding a 2009 government declaration known as the endangerment finding. It is the legal underpinning for nearly all climate regulations under the Clean Air Act for vehicles, power plants and other pollution sources that are heating the planet. Established under the presidency of Democrat Barack Obama, the finding establishes that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases threaten public health and welfare. But President Trump, a Republican, has called climate change a hoax and a con job.
This determination had no basis, in fact, had none whatsoever, and it had no basis in law. On the contrary, over the generations, fossil fuels have saved millions of lives and lifted billions of people out of poverty and all over the world. And you see it with the blackouts all over where they don't use it, where they went to wind, intermittent wind, which is weak and ineffective and very, very costly, most costly energy there is.
Gold is trading at $4,976.06 an ounce. The rand is at 15.96 to the dollar, 21.74 to the pound, 18.94 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.65 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident reported on the Halton Drive exit. This is just as you come out of the M1 South. It's causing delays towards Castle-Gowrie Road. There's also queuing traffic in Diepkloof along the N1 North approaching the Diepkloof interchange due to another accident.
And in your sport, Arsenal held 1-1 by Brentford to stay only 4 points ahead of Manchester City in the race for the Premier League title. The Proteas women take on Pakistan in a second T20 in Benoni tonight. And Ferrari fastest in Formula One pre-season testing on the go in Bahrain, while Mercedes and Red Bull had technical issues.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg is at a low of 16 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 18 and 28. Vereniging 17 and 27. The top story in EWN this hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa says governments will soon go after municipal managers in their personal capacity for failing to ensure that there is steady water supply for residents.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Calling all the brightest minds in Gauteng. Time to flex your general knowledge smarts in the brain of 702. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. T's and C's apply.
News,
conversation,
connection.
This is radio. World Radio Day on 702.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
State of the Nation address yesterday. There was some criticism, some of it quite tough from opposition parties, but not nearly, I think, as antagonistic, that's the word I'm looking for, as what we would have seen, I think, in previous years. And of course, some of it because the ministers who would ordinarily have had the most to say are themselves part of government. I think it was Gayton McKenzie who told the SABC that he can't be as critical as he has been before because he's now at the table where the big decisions are being made. The president yesterday saying, for instance, he is going to deal with all that we have heard about the widespread corruption in the South African Police Service.
The hearings of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry and the hearings that are going on in the ad hoc committee here have exposed rampant corruption in the SAPS and some metro police departments through the abuse of power. We cannot tolerate this. The rule of law depends on a police service that is ethical, responsive, and rooted in the communities that it serves. The South African Police Service has established a task team to ensure that investigations arising from the Madlanga Commission are undertaken swiftly without interference. The State Security Agency will re-vet the senior management of the South African Police Service and Metro Police Departments. The vetting process will include lifestyle audits as well.
We've seen, of course, people failing lifestyle audits, including that head of department in Gauteng Health, failing lifestyle audits, suspended for the 60 days and then popping up elsewhere, and life carries on as if nothing ever happened. Will it make a difference this time? He also spoke at some length about illegal immigration.
This year, we will take additional steps to secure our borders. Funding to strengthen border security will be prioritized, covering infrastructure, technology, and people. Now, key border posts will be redeveloped through public-private partnerships, and we will extend the electronic travel authorization to all international airports and the busiest land ports of entry. We are already using drones and technology to greater effect all along our borderline. The police, home affairs, and labor inspectors will work together to crack down on violations of existing immigration, labor, and other laws. Employers who hire foreign nationals without the required permits or visas will face the full might of the law.
Then, of course, the president making an announcement about bringing in the military in troubled areas, areas dealing with gangs, areas dealing with zama-zamas.
I will be deploying the South African National Defence Force to support the police as we did to great effect with illegal mining. I have directed the Minister of Police and the SANDF to develop a technical plan on where our security forces should be deployed within the next few days in the Western Cape and in Gauteng to deal with gang violence and illegal mining.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Cheers, not jeers, greeted that announcement. But you remember what happened the last time we deployed the army into civilian areas? Remember during COVID-19, the lockdown, when they were enforcing rules that were not there, when they were insisting that people who were hanging outside their yards should be indoors. Do you remember when soldiers were beating up civilians? Will this end well? Will it end well this time? What you need to know at this hour, there's a powerful cyclone with winds of up to 167 miles per hour that has struck Madagascar. Dozens of people have died and many more displaced as homes and infrastructure have been damaged. Listen to this one. The public protector, Koleka Galeka, has ruled that the South African national parks irregularly appointed one Johannes Slow as their spokesperson because he did not meet the minimum qualification requirements. She's ordered SANParks to begin a review of his appointment within 90 days and take disciplinary action against officials involved in the process. And it just made me think. Over the last few days, we've heard from people like Paul O'Sullivan. I think Clement Manyatele the other day was talking on his show about an accountant who learned on the job. With unemployment so rife in South Africa, is there no room at all for people who can be trained with particular skills and learn it on the job? Before things became digitized and computerized, you could learn the basics of bookkeeping, for example, and end up doing the work that accountants do, and you would learn it on the job. Is there no more room for that kind of trajectory where over a career you can say, but I've got 30 years experience doing this job, which is what this spokesperson was arguing. Yes, I don't have the honors degree that is prescribed in terms of the job specs, but I've been doing it for decades and I'm pretty good at it. Again, with unemployment so rife, or do we say, how do we deal with issues like nepotism and corruption if there's no verifiable way of checking whether somebody can do the job or not? Or are we being too strict and narrow-minded when we have such a big problem with unemployment? Jerry Springer, the former Cincinnati mayor who became a global TV icon, famous, of course, as the host of The Jerry Springer Show, was born on this day in England in 1944. The father of trash TV is how I would say him, describe him rather. And it's also the birthday of Robbie Williams. I think earlier in the week we spoke about an overrated artist, Amy Winehouse. I think Robbie Williams is underrated.
All I can
to be a better man. Think George Michael, think Elton John, think the Beatles. UK artists that have had enormous success globally and in the States. Robbie Williams is not one of those. I think it's one of the most underrated artists. I wish it had a bigger career. Just listen to that.
Catch my tears, walk me out of here. I'm in pain as my soul heals the shame. I will grow through this pain. Lord, I'm doing all I can to be a better man.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
Right, peak hour, Amo.
Oh, that's correct, Bongani. And we also have got delays actually on the Mark 1 North. Now they're extending all the way from Boysons towards Harton Drive. Then on the southerly direction of this route, also delays between Grayston and Corlett Drive. If you're heading towards Sandton, we now have got an accident reported right near Grayston Drive. It's causing delays from Corlett exit. And there's also an accident seen in Emerentia along Bears Nodia Drive. It's right near Judith Road. It's causing about a 15-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout and drive with care. I'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702.
The Big Interview
With Bongani Bingwa.
The big story, of course, throughout the week certainly has to be the taps that are running dry through many parts of South Africa. It's most acutely seen in Johannesburg suburbs without water for weeks on end. Residents queuing at tankers, and we've seen protesters blocking roads, businesses struggling to keep running. I think the city of George says they've got about 17 days left before they get to their day zero. So what we've done is, especially in light of the announcement by the president in that State of the Nation address of establishing a water crisis committee that will report directly to him in the next 3 months. We want to look at the scale of the problem and what can be done to reverse it. We've got two guests this morning. Chris Campbell is the CEO of Consulting Engineers South Africa. Professor Mike Muller, a member of the institution of Civil Engineering, their Water Division Committee. A very good morning to you both, and thank you for joining us. Chris, I'll start with you. This all actually emanated from a tweet one of our listeners in response to the challenges they were hearing from many 702 landers who said, get the engineers to come and tell you about the problem. So just give me an overall sense of what you are thinking in terms of the scale of the problem. How bad are things?
Bongani, and good morning to you, and good morning to Mike and to your listeners. I think certainly from an engineering perspective, the key issue that we probably sit with here is the question on whether it's funding, whether it's engineering, or it's politics. I would hasten to add that funding is probably important, but it's not the main constraint. The bigger problems are the loss of engineering capacity, procurement paralysis, and then unfortunately, political interference in operations and weak accountability. So invariably, we find money spent in a dysfunctional system, which doesn't fix the problem and accelerates failure. So from an engineering standpoint, governance failure is the dominant risk to recovery.
Mike, would that be an assessment you share? I mean, you've looked at this from the inside as a former Director General of the department. Would you share that sentiment?
Yes, it's one of those big problems, and you're trying always to find the root of the issue. I think, and I worry with Chris about our capacities, but what I see in particularly Johannesburg Water is a lot of quite competent engineers, but they are completely hamstrung by the politics around them that doesn't necessarily allow them to do the right thing, doesn't give them the money that they collect even when they sell water, doesn't always allow them to appoint the people that they need to appoint, and doesn't allow them to set the priorities that would allow them to fix the problem. So I don't want to underestimate the capacity of the engineers that are already involved, and I'd like to unlock those capacities. And I think if we do that, we might find we get results quite quickly.
To what end, though? I mean, we all see the extent of the crisis. Officials and politicians are telling us they're practically falling over each other to try and tell us what solutions are on offer. Mike, to what end would this interference be such an impediment that we are living with the crisis that we are seeing?
Okay, so let's look at the Joburg crisis. Plenty of water in the dams, but we're not getting it enough into the city and in through all those pipes to get to all the people. Why? Because about 35% of that water goes out in leaks. Now, what do we do? So
aren't we fixing the leaks?
Well, quite, but the question is, a lot of pressure. People are saying, let's just take more water from the dams. Rand Water must build the capacity to take more water. But actually, we need to spend money on something quite boring. Putting in 2,000 kilometers of new pipe to rehabilitate these stuff that is really rotten, as well as expanding at the same time. To do that, and this is where Chris is also right, money is quite important. But we know that there was 4 billion rand which was collected from water charges, which Joburg Water was not allowed to use to replace pipes. Now, this is the sort of crazy stuff we get. And we need to take a deep breath, stand back and say, 1, 2, 3, what do we do first? What do we need to be able to do it? And then can we get on with it?
Chris Campbell, on my way to work this morning, drove past a leak in my area that's been there for days now. And in fact, I saw, this is in the dark, in the early hours of the morning, I saw a homeless fellow with a bucket trying to collect water from a leak, as I say, that's been there for weeks unattended. That kind of thing is all too common, and then we get blamed as residents for overconsumption. It's a hard one to swallow.
Bongani, I do agree with you, and I think firstly, I would hasten to add that we need to become more aware that South Africa is a water-scarce country. So our behaviors around water usage need to change. But what we are facing at the moment is mostly a man-made challenge. As Mike has indicated, bulk water is available. It just can't get through the pipes and to the taps reliably. And that's because a large part of our reticulation networks are between 50 and 80 years old. You get the chronic leaks, loss of pressure, and pipe bursts. Of course, load shedding or power outages at municipal level, and let's not fool ourselves. Those do happen at local government level, and vandalism as well as cable theft, which disrupt pumping. And so when your system doesn't have a stable pressure and it's low pressure and high pressure, that puts an additional strain on your pipe network, and they just burst some more.
The minister mentioned 400 billion rand the other day as what would be needed as an amount to fix the problem. Does that seem steep to you, Chris?
How long is a piece of string? I think we are not quite sure yet what the real extent of the problem is, because, with Joburg, if you look at the pipe network, I think the president mentioned 156 billion, which has been committed for water and sanitation over the next 3 years. So I'm not sure where the 400 billion is. That going to be over the next 10 years. The crisis is now, and we need to look at how can we get into a quick win situation, and in parallel then start looking at what are the needs for the future, because you can't hope to put money into greenfields build whilst around the corner water's running down the street uncontrollably.
How much, Mike, does this all have to do with political appointments? I remember interviewing Dr. William Kize when he was Cocter Minister some years ago, and at that point it had emerged that many municipal managers couldn't read basic financial statements. One of the things we heard from the president was that senior political appointments must now no longer occur from a political process, but should rather be independent. Would that kind of thing help?
Look, I certainly think we've got to get the right people in the right places. And part of this is, how do we organize the municipalities? What the president said last night was quite important. The new Water Services Amendment Act is going to require the municipalities to show that they have competent people running their water supplies, and if they don't, they'll have to get another organization from outside, and we can have a discussion about what that means, to come and do the job for them. So it's an attempt to force the municipalities to appoint competence. Having competence is no good if the politicians then tell these people what to do, and particularly what to spend the money on. So they've got to give them autonomy. And the idea now of ring-fencing the money for water, from water, for water, so that politicians can't take the money from water and then go and spend it on some stadium or something else, becomes very important. It enables then good technicians to work in a structured way, knowing that this is what we've got to do, and let's get on in an organized way. And I have to say, I've sat in meetings where Joburg Water has presented their plan for the next 10 years, and they said, look, if we do the following things, and it's in 10 years, I have to say, we will be in a stable situation, meeting everybody's needs. But that means they've got to be allowed to do it. And that's the challenge.
This Water Crisis Committee, the president himself will chair it. He's expecting some action within 3 months. Are you confident that, like we saw in electricity, we'll deal with the problem the same way here? And from you both, and I'll start with you, Chris, what do they need to do in order for us to see some movement in the next 3 months?
Okay, so Bongani, I think that's a good move. It's been a long time coming. I'm not sure why we were in denial about the water crisis for so long. We do have several crises, and we've had to deal with them in parallel. And my take on this is that a credible recovery plan has to be technically driven, and it's going to be politically uncomfortable. So it begins with the system triage, where we protect the critical assets. We place non-revenue water reduction at the center. We create ring-fenced operations insulated from political churn. This is where the capacity issues lie, and a healthy partnership with the industry, both the consulting and construction, to capacitate the Joburg Water, for example. And it has to use parallel delivery through internal teams and external contractors. And finally, I believe it will require transparent public reporting, not going into a huddle and then we're guessing what's the success. And of course, if engineering logic then leads this decision making, Joburg water systems can recover. But if the politics continue to override operations, failure is inevitable.
Certain. Mike, what do they need to do?
Look, it'll help to have a political head overseeing the process, getting the technical plan put on the table, and then making sure that that's not obstructed. So I think, as in electricity, when the politicals sat there and said, okay, what do we need to have done? And the technicals said, here's the plan, here's the program. And the politicals said, okay, we'll help you to make sure that this is done. That worked. The one caution I want to make, Bongani, is that we've got to get through the next, and I say 10 years because that's what Joburg Water said in their presentation. And during that period, we want to spend money on what's going to make that long-term difference, which will probably be constructing new pipes rather than running around fixing leaks. In the meantime, there's not going to be enough water because of all of those leaks and losses.
Gosh.
There's not going to be enough water to meet everybody's needs unless we really use less as well. And I think we are going to need to see water restrictions in Gauteng, not these sort of soft ones, people must be nice and be good, but hard ones like they had in Cape Town during day zero. If you use too much, here's the penalty. And I think we will be helped in getting the things right if the hard work of the engineering and fixing, 2,000 kilometers of pipeline, etc., is backed up by enforced restraint, enforced restriction to keep enough the water that we've got shared fairly between the people of Johannesburg, because at the moment some people have plenty of water and a whole lot of others have nothing at all. We can't go on like that.
2036 seems so far away. Professor Mike Muller and Chris Campbell, the CEO of the Consulting Engineers of South Africa.
EWN Business.
Business news now with Muteo Kharipe, the president, of course, with a long list of to-dos as far as South Africa's infrastructure is concerned. Muteo?
Yeah, 1 trillion rand set aside for the next 3 years to try and prop up the economy. Let's focus on the economic side of that particular 2-hour speech. President Ramaphosa says South Africa has recorded 4 consecutive quarters of GDP expansion. It's not much growth at around 1%. It's expected to be 1.4% for this year. But what the nation really needs is between 3 to 5% to see more of those jobs coming through. There was also a highlight on the rail and ports turnaround in the country. Government says performance at rail and ports has also improved, helping businesses move goods to global markets more efficiently. Transnet's recovery also highlighted during that speech. The president also claiming that 2.5 million job opportunities have been created through the presidential employment stimulus, which is really a short-term solution for young people and women to be involved in jobs. This is people cleaning parks, people involved in construction sites, but we'll need far more sustainable jobs to prop up the South African economy. So a lot to do. Some analysts saying what he really needs is private sector investments. Otherwise, it's not really stable, with South Africa's budget also not hitting the right points to change the country around.
Now, there were 2 ministers who missed Sona yesterday because they were urgently dispatched to Gauteng to try and solve the water crisis. How much do you think they did since yesterday?
That's a short turnaround time.
Yeah, where's the rand?
Rand is this hour 15.97 weekend since yesterday against the US dollar, 18 Rand 94 against the euro, and the 21 Rand 73 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,979 an ounce, or platinum is up more than 1% at $2,028. Brent crude at $67.47 a barrel. More business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go. Good morning again, Sfiso Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. President Cyril Ramaphosa says organized crime is the most immediate threat to the country's democracy, society and economic development. The army is now set to be deployed to gang-ridden areas of the Western Cape and Gauteng. Ramaphosa made the announcement during the State of the Nation address last night. Lindsay Dentlinka reports.
In the same way in which the army was used to quell illegal mining, President Cyril Ramaphosa wants the Defence Force to assist with gangsterism. He's yet to inform Parliament of the number of troops that will be deployed and what it will cost. But he says crime is being felt in the loss of life, the sense of fear and the reluctance of businesses to invest.
I have directed the Minister of Police and the SANDF to develop a technical plan on where our security forces should be deployed within the next few days in the Western Cape and in Gauteng.
Western Cape Premier Alan Winde has welcomed the deployment, but says it's only a short-term solution and the SAPS must still be reformed. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Meanwhile, Acting Police Minister Firoz Kachalia has indicated that he will be meeting with various stakeholders in the Western Cape over the next 2 weeks, and this will be to finalise a plan to tackle the ongoing gang violence and crime in the province. Kachalia has stressed the importance of unity among various policing units, including the SANDF, SAPS and the City of Cape Town's Metro Police.
I am particularly pleased to see members of our National Army here alongside members of the South African Police Service for reasons that will become clear in the days ahead.
Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane says she feels betrayed by democratic South Africa. Simelane has fought unsuccessfully for years to have those responsible for the disappearance of her sister Nokuthula Simelane prosecuted. The minister was the first witness to testify before the TRC Cases Inquiry that's investigating allegations of political interference in apartheid-era prosecutions. The inquiry stalled for 9 months due to administrative delays and several recusal applications. It's believed her sister Nokuthula disappeared in 1983 while on a mission for the ANC in Eswatini. The minister told the inquiry yesterday that she and 25 other families deserve the truth and justice.
We feel betrayed. I feel betrayed myself as well. The state has betrayed us. I'd hope the old system may not do anything, but I'd hope that the new system will at least give me the truth, which is what the TRC promised us. Nothing else, just the truth. It is and it has been a very lonely journey.
And the Bangladesh Nationalist Party has won a landslide parliamentary election today. The party has secured a resounding mandate in a pivotal vote that's expected to restore political stability in the South Asian nation. The parliamentary election held yesterday was Bangladesh's first vote since the 2024 Gen Z-driven uprising that toppled longtime Premier Sheikh Hasina. A clear outcome had been seen as crucial for stability in the Muslim-majority country of 175 million people. After months of deadly anti-Hasina unrest disrupted everyday life and hit major industries, it was also the first national election to follow recent revolts led by the under-30s that have cropped up through the wider region. A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng, with showers expected today. The temperatures are at lows of 16 and 18 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 28.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in on the M1 North. This is between Boysons Road and Empire Road. And also, it's raining in most parts of Joburg. So if you are traveling on the roads, do remember to drive a bit slower than usual. Keep your headlights on and drive with care. And do keep a safe following distance as well.
The top story this hour, President Cyril Ramaphosa has organized crime, or says organized crime is the most immediate threat to the country's democracy.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
The Speaker of Parliament, Thogoti Diza, as we look ahead to the State of the Nation address by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And in terms of costs, how are we looking this year compared to where we were last year?
We are looking reasonably well. The cost is more or less 7 million that we've spent for this year. And you recall that we could have kept to the same number last year had it not been for the challenges of the inclement weather, the gustly wind that we saw in Cape Town.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Planning an event takes months of preparation, countless moving parts and careful coordination. But even with the best planning, not everything is in your control. An accident, an injury, property damage, and suddenly you could be held legally responsible. Well, that's where Auto & General Events Liability Insurance comes in. It protects businesses against legal action arising from third-party claims, covering unplanned costs such as medical expenses, legal fees, financial losses linked to event-related incidents. The policy covers a wide range of events, including festivals, sports gatherings, weddings, exhibitions, and social clubs. It complies with the Sports and Recreational Events Act, which requires events and activities to have liability insurance in place. Flexible cover limits are available from 1 million to 100 million rand for once-off events or multiple events throughout the year. Visit autogen.co.za to get events liability insurance today. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Mzansi, pick your 6 lucky numbers and play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 57 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Friday. Don't miss out. Play Powerball for an estimated 37 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 20 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Government has published the draft revised white paper on citizenship, immigration, refugee protection, and now invites the public to submit comments. This policy will shape how immigration, citizenship, and refugee protection are managed in South Africa. Now is your chance to make your voice heard. For more information about the white paper, visit www.dha.gov.za. To submit your comments, email whitepaper@dha.gov.za. Submissions close on 15 February 2026. Have your say. Don't be left behind. Your input matters. Home Affairs, delivering dignity for all.
Join Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12 today. Sona in 60 minutes. The president had plenty to say in last night's State of the Nation address. If you missed it or you just want to find meaning behind the message, 702 has you covered.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Bongani, just heard on the news how they had to dispatch 2 ministers to solve the water crisis over Sona. This is very telling. Why do they think that ministers can help when what they need to do is let the engineers and the Joburg Water and those people just do what they need to do?
Good morning, Bongs. Whilst we are trying to fix the leaks, we also, municipalities need to put moratorium on new developments because that's where there's also an increase in consumption or withdrawal from the reservoirs, which makes it impossible to recover and supply everyone. But I doubt it's one of the decisions municipalities are prepared to do because they need revenue.
Anonymous from the East Rand. I go to work and every Tuesday, our neighbour, to home office, the gardener waters the bricks for at least an hour. The owner comes out and chats to him. We have conniption for watching all this water just getting wasted. He's not even watering the plants. He's cleaning bricks. We have to educate the masses as to where the water comes from and how expensive it is to get it there. And each owner of the houses should be responsible for water resources somehow, or at least, I don't think people realize the state we're in as far as water consumption and the lack thereof in areas.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things our expert said just after 7 o'clock, Professor Mike Muller, that one way to make people understand the expense of water is to reflect it in their bills, right? Make it hard and make it clear. I appreciate that, but there's so much work that needs to be done in terms of upgrading the infrastructure, not just patching it here and there, but we so often look for quick fix solutions. I'm really so amused by the idea of the 2 ministers who were dispatched to Gauteng. They missed Sona yesterday because they've got to go and deal with the water crisis in Johannesburg. I'm wondering, what did they do last night? Do you really think they were dealing with the water crisis during Sona, or were they watching it from their hotels? Do you know what I mean? Like, they missed Sona to come and urgently deal with this crisis. So here we are. Is there water in the taps that were dry 2 days ago? Yeah, ne?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So you'll get 1,000 Rand for the answer and then later 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Petunia. Petunia, what's today's answer?
It's 51, Bongani.
51 is today's answer. I love it. Petunia, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, I have.
1,000 Rand is coming your way. 1,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. I nearly gave you money out of my own pocket, didn't I? Petunia, congratulations. 1,000 Rand is coming your way. So let's just be clear, that's 1,000 Rand. Now, for 2,000 Rand, please tell me what's the question. If the answer, as Petunia says, is 51.
EWN Sport.
Cindy, there's a lot to deal with. No water in Johannesburg. Now Arsenal bringing back the familiar stress.
How are you feeling
for fans? Guys, look, we still have a 4-point lead.
Yeah.
But it's just not as comfortable as 6 or even 9.
So, in previous seasons, I would be like, sure, 4 points. That's all there is. Like, are you going to win it? But I think given Arsenal's history of not being able to win the league, you would go, okay, cool. But Manchester City is having an off-season as well. They're not, I mean, say off-season.
They won 3-0.
We say off-season.
The day before.
Yeah, but they had like a recent like bad run of results, etc., etc. So everybody's kind of been like, well, Man City aren't what they are, Holland's not what they are, etc., etc. But now, just in a week.
That could be the thing that lifts them again, right? The possibility.
If there's any lesson to anyone listening in life, what a difference a week makes. Right. So
Thierry Henry, sorry, just very quickly. Thierry Henry, was the game against Villa? I can't remember. It wasn't Villa. It was one of the lower teams that they lost to. And he said the Arsenal players were just crestfallen and they looked so discouraged. And he says he walked and he started talking to them and he said, what's wrong with you guys? It's just one game. And his worry was that they're not used to winning all the time. And so when they lose, it's the end of the world. Whereas if you are used to winning, you know it's just another game. It's just one game.
Interesting.
So
maybe that's the Maybe that's the league winning mentality that we aren't aware of, right? But they were held 1-1 by Brentford last night. So they didn't lose, but they didn't win. They were only 4 points clear of Manchester City. They opened through Madueke and Brentford equalised through Lewis Potter. Here's Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta says nothing less than the best will do now.
We have to do our job and we're going to have to come to all these places the same like the rest of the team, and we know how tough it is. And you have to be at your best every game and have the luck that you need as well in games to conquer the 3 points each week.
Arsenal are in action again on Sunday in the fourth round of the FA Cup playing Wigan. Selected fixtures tonight, Chelsea against Hull City, as tomorrow Man City against Salford. Aston Villa playing Newcastle, Liverpool up against Brighton. That's all FA Cup action. There's 2 league games tonight in the Betway Premiership. Durban City are hosting TS Galaxy. Magesi take on Arrows. The Proteas women take on Pakistan in the second T20 in Benoni later this evening. And Reid Dirksen and what the bowlers are working on ahead of the game.
I think just execution, keeping things simple, make sure that your plans are clear before you start running in, especially when there's a bit of pressure and a bit of chaos going around. So yeah, just calm minds and simple plans.
At the T20 World Cup, Australia have sent Zimbabwe into bat. After this, Canada, UAE and Netherlands, USA. Yesterday, huge wins for India over Namibia, 93 runs there. Italy beat Nepal by 10 wickets. Sri Lanka got a 105-run win over Oman. And Formula One's pre-season testing on the go in Bahrain. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was fastest ahead of McLaren's Lando Norris. Mercedes and the Red Bull have suffered technical issues. Here's Max Verstappen on Red Bull's new engine.
We're heading in the right direction. Of course, there's still things that we want to do better, for sure. I think we will never be satisfied. But like I said, at least we're not breaking down, and I think that no one really expected that. I think from the start that, we would go out of the garage without exploding. That has been very positive.
F1 has an extended pre-season schedule to allow teams to adapt to the introduction of the new power units and chassis. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
12 to 8, the CWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. There are delays in Emerentia. Amo, what's going on there?
That's correct, Bongani. An earlier accident is causing delays along Bearsnodia Drive approaching Judith Road. There's also queuing traffic along Berry Herzog Avenue. This is not far from Emerentia, just as you approach Taylor Road. And if you are traveling along the Empire Road towards the M1 exit, do expect heavy traffic volumes. This is due to peak time delays, and also it's raining in most parts of Joburg this morning. So if you are on the roads at this particular moment, do remember to drive a bit slower than usual. Keep your headlights on and keep a safe following distance. And speaking of delays, the Mark 1 North heavily backed up between the Kilani bends all the way towards Grayston Drive due to an accident between these 2 points. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could show your bank balance some love this month with awesome car insurance savings from Outsurance. Like 43-year-old Gloria, who saves an unbelievable 513 Rand on her 2024 Audi Q3. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
From the first broadcast to the voices you trust today.
Radio keeps you connected. World Radio Day on 702.
The Joburg Ballet presents Giselle, the most sublime of all the romantic ballets. It's on at the Joburg Theatre. It started last night and will go on until this Sunday, the 15th of February. This is that heart-rending story of love so powerful it reaches from beyond the grave. There'll be 2 Valentine's Day performances tomorrow at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And then a week later, on the 20th to the 22nd, Giselle will be at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. Get your tickets at webtickets.co.za.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
This Valentine's weekend, Motor Select is giving you your last chance to find the one. That one car that just feels right. The one you can't stop thinking about. The one that comes with up to 70,000 Rand cash back. Today's the last day, so don't let love drive away. Visit motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership to find the one and make it official. T's and C's apply.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is 51. Helen, let's come to you. What's the question?
How old is Jerry Springer turning today?
I'm afraid that's not it. He was 51 a long time ago, Helen. He was born in 1944.
48. Oh.
Not quite. Let's go to Valerie, I think it is. No, we don't have Valerie. I think it's Francois we are going to. Francois, what's the question?
How old is the English singer and songwriter Robbie Williams turning today?
Yes, indeed. Robbie Williams. It is his birthday today. I think he's one of those artists. I can't quite say he's underrated, but I wish he'd had more success.
We were young, we were wrong, we were fine all along. If there's somebody calling me on, she's the one. When you get to where you wanna go, and you know the things you wanna know, yeah. Smiling when you said what you wanna say, and you know the way you wanna play. You'll be so high, you'll be flying. Though the sea will be strong, I know we'll carry on. 'Cause if there's somebody calling me on, she
old OutSurance client knows all about saving on car insurance.
OutSurance, they're actually giving something back to you. Being with them, I've saved so much money. 899. That's not small change. It's more than 50% that I saved from my previous insurer.
An incredible 899 Rand monthly saving on Rafiq's 2017 Nissan Navara 4x4. Get a quote now. SMS out to 45142. 35-year-old Zanai saves 1,180 Rand a month on her 2017
LLB graduates can
Mercedes-Benz
fast-track their
GLA.
legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Celebrating the voices that matter. World Radio Day on 702.
The stage, the lights, the crowd, everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with events liability insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on events liability insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
The world of viral content we go to now. Our Kabazela.
Good morning to you.
So listen, I was thinking.
Don't interrupt me.
All right, I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, so I thought this was quite an interesting one. So, I mean, if you think of conversations that you have with people, sometimes people will interrupt you and they will finish the sentence for you. And you might think, oh, it's flippin' rude, or, why are you doing that? And it's not very nice. And it's maybe because their brain is a little bit slower and your brain is just a little bit quicker. So linguists have done some studies on this, and apparently that's why it happens, is because the person that you're talking to, their brain is just processing a lot quicker, and they can, tell what you're trying to say. So let's take a listen to this clip and we'll come back afterwards.
Your habit of interrupting people before they finish their sentences makes you seem impatient, but communication researchers found it indicates your brain completed their thought faster than they could speak it. Linguists studying conversational patterns discovered that frequent interrupters show significantly higher predictive language processing. Your brain runs ahead of speech, finishes the sentence internally, and gets restless waiting for confirmation. High interrupt speakers often come from fast-paced conversational cultures where jumping in signals engagement rather than rudeness. Your brain learned that waiting until the end means you weren't really listening. The interruption happens because your brain already arrived at the destination.
I'm kind of, I think it's both. I can see how you arrive, but I don't know that even if your brain is already there, if you can call yourself a good listener. So I've been on both ends where I know what the person is, especially in our job, right? Yes. Sometimes you want to go, you're going to be live in 2 seconds. The producer is over explaining. You've got it. You want to move on. Tell me the next thing. We're going live in 2 seconds. I get it. Yes. But I also know it often means I'm not being a good listener.
Yeah, but your situation is different because that's a time-bound conversation that you're having. So in general conversation, when you're speaking to somebody, if they are interrupting you, it's a different situation because it could be, one, you're not really listening to what I'm saying, or if it's harmless, they know what you're saying and they're just finishing that sentence for you. So there's a difference where I think if you're interrupting somebody, like you could interrupt me now, But finishing somebody's sentence versus an interruption is, I think, is two different things. So how do you deal with somebody when you're having a conversation and you are interrupted all the time, or somebody's finishing your sentence? Do you walk away from that conversation thinking, they didn't even listen to me? Or do you just kind of, take it as it comes? Interesting one, Bongles.
All right, let's put it out there on 011 883 0702. We'll take your WhatsApp voice notes on 072 702 1702. Coming up, we're going to be talking cricket and Valentine's Day in Soweto. What's that all about? Stay listening.
This is EWN.
Ramaphosa to come up with tough action for officials failing to deal with the water crisis, and a bill to protect whistleblowers will finally be tabled. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. President Cyril Ramaphosa says government will soon go after municipal managers in their personal capacity for failing to ensure that there is steady water supply for residents. He says they've already taken action against several municipalities across the country who are unable to address water supply challenges in their towns and cities. Ramaphosa gave the undertaking during his State of the Nation address last night amid growing water supply shortages in some provinces. Babalo Ndente reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has vowed to take action against municipalities who fail to address ongoing water challenges. He says government has already laid criminal charges against 56 municipalities that have failed to meet their obligations.
We will now move to even lay charges against municipal managers for violating the National Water Act.
Ramaphosa says to address the growing water crisis, the government will use the same approach it used when it was dealing with the electricity crisis. He says he will be personally involved in resolving the water shortages, which have seen communities in places like Johannesburg go without water for weeks.
Using the same approach, we will now elevate our response to water crisis to a National Water Crisis Committee, which I will chair.
He says the crisis committee will bring together all existing efforts into a single coordinating body. Babalo Ndanza, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
A long-awaited bill to protect whistleblowers will be tabled this year to provide greater protection for them and to criminalize retaliation. The president made the pledge during his address last night, where he's promised that the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into Police Corruption will lead to far-reaching changes. Ramaphosa says firm action will also be taken against those who seek to silence people who speak out against corruption. Lindsay Dentlinka takes a look.
With rampant corruption in the South African Police Service exposed by the Madlanga Commission and the ad hoc committee in Parliament, President Cyril Ramaphosa has given the assurance that he's already acted on the findings of the interim report he's received from the Commission.
We cannot tolerate this. The rule of law depends on a police service that is ethical, responsive, and rooted in the communities that it serves.
Ramaphosa says new legislation on whistleblowing will seek to provide psychosocial, legal and financial support to whistleblowers.
We cannot accept that those who speak out against corruption are victimized, targeted and killed.
Furthermore, Ramaphosa says special attention will be given to restructuring the procurement system with the aim of ending corruption. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Lawyers for alleged crime boss Vusmuzikat Matlala have told the Johannesburg High Court that he's eager for the trial to go ahead so he can prove his innocence. Matlala, his wife Tsakani and their three co-accused returned to the High Court yesterday on attempted murder charges. They are accused of planning and executing three botched hits, including one on Matlala's ex-girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane. Khomotso Modise reports.
Over the last court appearances, lawyers for Vusmuzikat Matlala have repeated how eager the alleged crime boss is to prove his innocence. Yesterday, his advocate, Annelien van der Heever, repeated this as she asked the court to allow Matlala to be brought to the Johannesburg High Court on Monday and Tuesday so that they can consult without any restrictions.
My client wishes this trial to go ahead. He's innocent and he wants to prove his innocence in court.
But instead, Judge William Karam has ordered the head of prison at Kgosi Mampuru to allow Matlala to consult with his lawyers without any obstruction. Meanwhile, the court also heard that Matlala will stay at the Kgosi Mampuru prison at least until Tuesday and not the eBongweni super maximum prison where he was transferred to in December. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And President Donald Trump's appointment has announced the end of an aggressive immigration operation in Minnesota that triggered large protests and nationwide outrage following the killing of 2 U.S. citizens. Thousands of federal agents, including immigration and customs enforcement officers, conducted weeks of sweeping raids and arrests in what the administration claims were targeted missions against criminals. The operation sparked tense demonstrations in the Minneapolis area, and the fatal separate shootings of Renee Good and Alex Pretty last month led to a wave of criticism. Trump official Tom Homan has raised the prospect that the officers would move to another location, but gave no details, and speculation is rife about which city might be targeted next.
With that, and successor has been made addressing public safety threats and other priorities since this search operation began, as well as the unprecedented levels of coordination we have obtained from state officials and local law enforcement. I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Gold is trading at $4,950.15 an ounce. The rand is at 16 rand exactly to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.98 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.39 a barrel.
There's a major accident scene reported on the N12 East. This is approaching the Reading interchange. Delays coming out of Komaro Street. Please be on the lookout there and expect about a 20-minute hold-up. While traveling on the N3 in South, we've got bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Kilulis interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout.
And in your sport, the Proteas women take on Pakistan in a T20 international in Benoni tonight. The game marks 10 years since Laura Volvaart made her international debut. Arsenal dropped points in the title race in a draw with Brentford, staying 4 points ahead of City now. And Ferrari was fastest ahead of McLaren in F1 pre-season testing.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa says government will soon go after municipal managers in their personal capacity for failing to ensure that there's steady water supply for residents.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Your brain's a well-oiled machine. Now put it to work in the brain of 702. Enter on primemediaplus.com. T's and C's apply.
Celebrating the voices that matter. World Radio Day on 702. This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock, we're reflecting on last night's State of the Nation address. A little earlier on, we spoke to the veteran journalist Ferial Haffajee, reflecting on the president's promises. A lot more concrete was this speech. Not many promises about smart cities. Although he did mention the bullet train, he revived that idea. Too much laughter in the House. What did you make of it? Were you pleased? Were you happy? We spoke to 2 engineers looking at South Africa's water challenges. It may take up to 10 years or even longer to fix some of the problems, because maybe it's time to not put band-aids, but to replace the pipe infrastructure so that the leaks stop permanently, so that you don't replace a little leak here and then next week down the road, down the system, another one pops up. That could be as long as 2036. Are we ready to take the bitter medicine? Kabazela wants to know, what do you think of people who interrupt you? Do you agree with the research that, it's because their brains got to where you are going with the story faster? Or do you think they're just bad listeners? Are you one of those people who interrupts when others speak? Let's talk.
Good morning, Bongani. I'd like to remain anonymous. When somebody interrupts me in conversation, I just stop the conversation. And I keep quiet and let them carry on with it, since they think they know what I was about to say.
If you walk away from a conversation feeling like you haven't been heard, it's one of 2 things. Either you didn't get a chance to speak, or they didn't get a chance to tell you that they didn't understand you. Either way, don't think about it. Just meet up again and continue the conversation. Lots of love from Karen England Ken.
How do you deal with people who interrupt your speaking?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We will not tolerate violence and acts of lawlessness directed at foreign nationals. No foreign national should be unlawfully barred from accessing public facilities, including health facilities and schools. To build a stronger South Africa, we need an ethical and capable developmental state. A capable state needs committed and honest public servants with the right skills and a deep culture of service. Over the past year, we have passed significant new legislation to professionalize the public service.
President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday in a wide-ranging State of the Nation address. He also made it very clear that South Africa's foreign policy is not up for negotiation.
In a world where powerful nations often assert their dominance and influence over less powerful nations, our country's commitment to sovereignty and self-determination is sacrosanct. It is not negotiable. And we will stand firm on our sovereignty and promote our national interests, our values, and the rights of our people. We are clear that we will continue to respect the rights and sovereignty of other nations. But we must be equally clear that we will not be bullied by any other country in the world. We will forge strong partnerships with like-minded countries to increase our shared resilience to global disruptions.
What did you make of the State of the Nation address last night?
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Bongani and Tim, I remember the songs when you were talking about the songs we used to listen to when we were young. I remember in primary school, like these ladies who were in school who used to have a songbook, you know. They used to have songs that they write in their books. I remember my sister also had a songbook, and I remember one song that she particularly liked to sing was call on me, I will be there, na 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 na. And I remember there was this one other song that my classroom mate used to love, you know. I'll make love to you. That time we in primary school, like you want me to, in primary school. I think we didn't know the meaning.
Hi, Bongani. Age and nothing but a number sounds very different right now, knowing how young Aliyah actually was and the relationship between her and the pipe piper. So yeah, no, these songs were horrible. The things we were singing, and even the shows we were watching Days of Our Lives and The Bold and the Beautiful. Those things are highly inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, I would go next door to go watch it when our TV wasn't working. You remember Days of Our Lives used to be on at 5, I think, and then The Bold was on at 5:30. Imagine. And I'm like a little pickaninny, but I'm so interested in what happens next with Brooke and Rich.
So you weren't interested in Lucky Luke just before that started?
What was that?
As a child, you weren't interested in the cartoons.
What is The Bold? I'm there for The Bold. We're talking in the light of Boys to Men coming to South Africa. And, of course, this was music. I mean, their heyday was many, many years ago. Their heyday was a good 20 years ago when many of us were still young. And we were singing these songs as if we understood what they meant. And now you look back and you are horrified, right? Because now you're a parent trying to navigate some of the lyrics your kids are listening to. Do you have a right to be shocked?
EWN
14 after 8, this EWN traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Wet roads everywhere.
That's correct, Bongani. This is due to the heavy rains. So if you're traveling in Joburg, please be on the lookout. Keep your headlights on a safe following distance and avoid speeding. If you are traveling in Boksburg, we've got an accident reported on the N12 West. It's right near Jet Park Road. It is causing heavy delays. There's another one that's been reported in Randburg. It's on Hill Street after Malibongwe Drive. It is also causing heavy traffic volumes. And then if you are traveling on the N12 East towards the Alberton area, do you expect another accident scene to cause you a bit of a hold-up coming out of Komara Street exit as you approach the Reading interchange. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the eager beaver driving to meet the woman of his dreams. Butterflies in his stomach, GPS on full volume. He checks his hair for the 7th time. Looking good. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a possible love story on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I don't like cricket. Oh no. I love it. What is that all about? Love is in the air this weekend. And for the DP World Lions, that love is cricket. So from today until Sunday, the Pride, DP World Lions, will be heading to Dobsonville Stadium to Soweto for a special Women's Weekend celebration. So here's what's happening. Tomorrow on Valentine's Day, the DP World Lions ladies take on the Garden Route Badgers in a 50-over match at 10 in the morning. Then on Sunday at 11 a.m., it's a fast-paced T20 clash. And here's the key detail. Entry is free. Gratis. But this is bigger than just 2 games. There'll be coaching clinics for young players, meet and greet sessions, autograph signings, music, pitchside picnics, and plenty of prizes, including tickets to the SA versus India Women's T20 Internationals happening at the Wanderers in April. To tell us all about it, we've invited Lions Cricket CEO Jono Leafright. Jono, very good morning to you. Thank you for popping into the studio.
Morning, Bongani, and good morning to all your listeners. It's great to be here celebrating the love weekend of cricket.
And we're taking women's cricket, right? This women's weekend to Dobsonville Stadium. Why Dobsonville Stadium specifically?
Yeah, as you know, Bongs, I mean, our DP World Lions players generally play out of the DP World Wanderers for the majority of matches, but we love our community. We love spreading the game of cricket and the love of the game to our communities, and we thought, what a great weekend to do it on when there is Valentine's Day on Saturday, and we can take the game to the people and do it at Dobsonville Oval, which has such a legacy and a history backdating many, many years and has a legacy of 2003 World Cup with its facility that was built. So we wanted to go there.
And of course, it's important to grow the game in terms of players, but also the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many of our top players have come out of that region. If you look at young Karabo Meso, who's playing now for the Proteas and a consistent member of that squad, I mean, she came out of Soweto. So a real love for cricket in that space. And we want to spread the game. We want to spread the love of the game. And certainly taking it out to the communities has done just that.
How much is women's cricket growing globally?
Geez, Bongani, it's growing at an exponential rate. If we look locally within South Africa alone, our primary schools, if you look at the amount of teams that are playing cricket now at primary school level and at high school level, it's fantastic. If you look at how many girls are wanting to play the game, we launched a Josie Cup 4 years ago as a winter cricket tournament in Johannesburg. And the amount of girls teams now that enter that Josie Cup is so exciting. So we've seen a massive uptake in girls cricket across our province and across the country. And certainly it bodes well for the pipeline, for the TOCOM Talent Acceleration Program, and for DP World Lions and the Proteas. And if you look how well the Proteas have done, Bongani, in recent years, they've done exceptionally well.
And of course, that's why I would imagine tomorrow's not just about the games, but making sure there's coaching clinics as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every young player wants to get close to the heroes and the heroines and to be coached by the likes of some of our top players is something that we've received messages about that they're so excited about. So certainly our players want to give back, and they want to make sure that they grow the next generation of top player.
Up for grabs, of course, are tickets to the SA India games, that T20 those T20 internationals in April. Are there other prizes you can tell us about?
Lots of prizes we're giving away, from home appliances to all kinds of things. But yeah, those two matches, 22nd, 25th of April at the DP World Wanderers, Protea versus India, is going to be two really exciting T20 games. And as you know, the Pakistan tour at the moment's on the go with the Proteas. So a lot of cricket on the go, and a lot of cricket for the Protea men coming up as well over the summer ahead, as we look for Australia in September, England in December, as we build up to World Cup in 2027. So much going on.
I'll come to the men in just a moment, but in the long run, what would success after this weekend look like? Would it be more community leagues, bigger crowds? What are you looking for after a weekend like this?
Yeah, we want more fans to come to the game. We want more fans when our Deep Field Lions play at the Deep Field Wanderers, to make sure they come out and turn out and support our players. We're sitting in a great position in the Pro 50 and the Pro 20, first and second in the log at the moment. This is the big weekend as we build up to the back end of the season. We believe we can host both home finals and lift both trophies in the women's game, which hasn't been done before by a domestic team. And if you look at our Deep Field Lions men, they won last week and they're playing the final at the Deep Field Wanderers on Wednesday for the third consecutive home final in the 4-day competition. So Deep Field Lions is in a great space, and our women are really leading the front in making sure that our fans love the game, and more young girls are wanting to play the game after the weekend.
So what time do you want people to arrive tomorrow?
Anytime. The gates will open from 8 a.m. Our players will be there from early warming up. And as you said, we're going to do some meet and greets. They're going to get close to the players. They're going to get coached by the players, even starting today from some of our hub and development players in those regions. We'll get close and up personal with those players. So really a full weekend of Pro 50 cricket and T20 cricket Saturday and Sunday.
And of course, just because I have you in the studio, we have to talk about that T20 against Bangladesh. Did you watch the game?
The Afghanistan one.
Yes, of course.
It was mad. I've not watched a crazier T20 game in my life. I was actually in a coaches meeting with Russell Domingo, Alan Donald, Hashim Amla, etc., our Deep Field Lions men's coaching staff planning the season ahead, and suddenly we saw that Afghanistan needed X amount of runs in the last over. We switched it on and we watched Kagiso Rabada's last over the two super overs.
Better than Kagiso Rabada to bowl that last over.
KG,
and then
absolutely. I mean, I've known KG from a young boy, and if there was any player I would have given that last over to, it would have been him.
Cometh the hour, cometh that man.
Absolutely.
And then...
But sport is sport, and humans are humans, and Cage will certainly bounce back strong. But thank goodness we got over the line.
So how much would a game like that scare the Proteas into understanding that you can't underestimate any opponent in a World Cup?
Yeah, I think at the Deep Field Lions we say we never lose, we either win or we learn. And certainly I think the Proteas would have learnt a lot out of that game and would have certainly taken a lot of learnings out of it to make sure that they never allow opposition to win small and critical moments that they need to win in order to close out a game. I think the Proteas had their opportunities to close that game out much earlier, and they allowed Afghanistan to get closer than they should have. And I think they'll take a lot of learning out of that as they move and progress into this World Cup. But I reckon, Bongs, they're going to win this World Cup, and they're going to win the 50-over World Cup in South Africa next year.
From your lips to the ears of the gods. John O'Leaf Wright is the CEO of Lions Cricket.
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Catch up now with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, let's start with, selling a baby. This is a couple in the Philippines, and they're facing jail time.
They are. They've been caught, the mother and father, aged 19 and 22, so very young. But reportedly, they put their 12-day-old baby, excuse me, up for sale online. Oh, I've got a frog in my throat. I do apologize. They put their baby up for sale. Thank you. Two would do. But they were caught in a real-world sting operation. At a shopping mall. Basically, some undercover agents posed as customers, agreeing to buy their child for the equivalent of $470. So we're talking, 7,500 rand. The mother burst into tears as she was handcuffed by police and as they were led away. Whether that was remorse or just because she'd been caught, we don't know. But the couple now face possibly 20 years in prison, possibly a life sentence. I mean, we can all get a bit fed up with our kids, but selling them online as a business opportunity, apparently they wanted to fund their street food business. It's not good, is it? Not good.
12-day-old baby. I think that's what's more scary about the story, Adam. Let's talk now about America's drone mix-up. Tell me about the El Paso airport.
Yeah, it all went a bit panicky in El Paso. This is a US-Mexico border city, so a little sensitive. It's also very close to a big military base. And what seems to have happened, because there are slightly conflicting stories, but what seems to have happened is that the Pentagon had permission to test fire a high-energy drone laser, essentially a laser carried by a drone that would shoot down other drones, supposedly cartel drones or whoever's in the world. But they did it ahead of time. So the result was that nobody was expecting it. There was a bit of panic. They closed the airport in El Paso for 10 days. In the end, it was only less than a day. But immediately it was like 10 days closed because we don't know what's going on. The US Department of Defense says, in fact, the military had disabled drones that were being used by Mexican cartels. That does appear to be total nonsense. It appears that they test-fired a laser ahead of the permission time to shoot down what turned out to be a party balloon. The mayor of El Paso, Renard Johnson, has voiced his displeasure, but I don't know, does Washington listen to city mayors anymore? I don't get the impression they do.
A party balloon. She's just 13 years old, Adam, and already reputed to be the second most powerful leader in North Korea.
That's quite something, isn't it? Yeah, to put that kind of pressure on. I guess she's all right in the sense that Kim Jong-un is relatively healthy and is only 42. But the South Korean National Intelligence Agency is saying that, yet they believe that Kim Jong-un is the successor. She's already accompanied her dad to various high-profile public events. She's been photographed in public, which is unusual. The fact that also as a young girl / woman that she's given any responsibility is itself a bit of a game changer. She also accompanied Kim Jong-un on a state visit to Beijing a few months ago. So they're saying that they think she's absolutely being lined up to be the successor, albeit maybe sometime into the future. But it does rather beg the question, what's happened, because they're not exactly forthcoming about this, what's happened to the older brother? Kim Jong-un is meant to have an older son. Where is he? What's going on with him? Is he still alive? Maybe he's just a girl daddy. Maybe that answers it.
Yeah, I mean, symbolism is everything for the North Koreans, and increasingly they're being seen in public, photographed side by side, and that's apparently meant to mean that she's being, presented as a potential equal to her father. So we'll see what happens. But as you say, Adam, we've got some time yet. That's this morning's Worldview with Adam Gilchrist.
EWN Business.
All right, let's talk about cars. Muteo Khwaripe in our business news. Tell me about the Chinese vehicle manufacturers. They're making strong moves in our market.
Yeah, Bongani Cherry Group has made a stronger move in the SA car market. The Asian car brand has overtaken Volkswagen Audi to become the third best-selling vehicle manufacturer in the country. Now, according to January data from the Automotive Business Council, NAMSA, Cherry Group sold 5,221 vehicles, surpassing Volkswagen's 4,774 units. This growth is driven by the growing popularity of Chinese SUVs in the SA market, with Cherry's sub-brands Jetour, Moda and J-Coup also making significant contributions. The top three vehicle manufacturers in the country as of January 2026 include Toyota, Suzuki, and now Chery. Chery Auto's success is part of a larger trend, with Chinese brands accounting for 11.8% of South Africa's new vehicle market, up from 2.8% in 2020.
Get a grip on your debt repayments, says the IMF.
Yeah, the International Monetary Fund says South Africa needs more solid plans to limit government debt. Despite showing signs of improvement, the country's debt remains a concern, with the National Treasury projecting it will stabilize at around 77.9% of GDP in 2026. IMF expects South Africa's growth to hit 1.4% in 2026, with inflation expected to come in at 3%. South Africa's economy has shown some resilience, especially in 2025, with recent positives including the removal from the Financial Action Task Force's grey list and a rating upgrade from the ratings agencies.
All right, your indicators?
The rand weakening to exactly 16 rand against the US dollar, at 18 rand 98 against the euro, and at 21 rand 76 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,948 an ounce, while platinum is up 0.5% at $2,016. Brent crude at $67.31 a barrel. Stephen Grootes will wrap up the week in business later this afternoon.
Let's go straight to the news desk. More reflections on last night's Sona. Sfiso Zulu, good morning.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Some opposition parties believe President Cyril Ramaphosa's order for a fresh round of vetting for senior SAPS and Metro police officials is an admission of corruption within law enforcement. In his Sona yesterday, Ramaphosa announced the State Security Agency will be vetting senior police officials. The move comes after revelations in both the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry and Parliament's ad hoc committee, which are both investigating possible criminal infiltration in the country's crime prevention sector. EFF leader Julius Malema, who sits on Parliament's ad hoc committee, has, however, welcomed the announcement.
That is a confirmation of the evidence that we're able to lead in the ad hoc committee and in the Madlanga Commission, that it looks like majority of police are corrupt. And that's why they need the necessary vetting from an independent structure which is not conflicted.
Another member of the ad hoc committee, Action SA's Darylene James, has echoed the same sentiments.
No, definitely. We've heard it on all the platforms. We've heard witnesses coming forward. We've heard about these appointments, where people aren't even interviewed properly, where people aren't vetted properly. So it is really welcomed. We need that. We definitely need that.
The president has also spoken about plans to deal with organized crime, which is described as the most immediate threat to the country's democracy, society and economic development. And as a result, the army is now set to be deployed to gang-ridden areas of the Western Cape and Gauteng. Lindsay Dentlinker takes a look.
In the same way in which the army was used to quell illegal mining, President Cyril Ramaphosa wants the Defence Force to assist with gangsterism. He's yet to inform Parliament of the number of troops that will be deployed and what it will cost. But he says crime is being felt in the loss of life, the sense of fear and the reluctance of businesses to invest.
I have directed the Minister of Police and the SANDF to develop a technical plan on where our security forces should be deployed within the next few days in the Western Cape and in Gauteng.
Western Cape Premier Alan Winde has welcomed the deployment, but says it's only a short-term solution and the SAPS must still be reformed. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A legal battle between a former high school principal and the Western Cape Education Department is set to proceed in the Labour Court today. The department dismissed Heathfield High School principal Wesley Newman during the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic for refusing to open the school during the national lockdown despite the department's directives. Newman is set to approach the Labour Court today to enforce a recent ruling in favour of his reinstatement. Carlo Peterson reports.
Special Action Committee Education spokesperson Warren Hermanus says the Labour Court's ruling to reinstate Wesley Newman as principal of Heathfield High School affirms the Western Cape Education Department's case against Newman lacks merit.
Despite these clear judicial pronouncements, the WCED has continued to delay compliance, unnecessarily prolonging a matter that has already caused significant harm to Mr. Newman and instability within the Heathfield High community.
Concerns raised by the department in its answering affidavit includes allegations of bullying staff and financial irregularities. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And North Korea will convene the 9th Party Congress this month, a major political undertaking aimed at showcasing leader Kim Jong-un's absolute grip on power. In the run-up to the once every 5-year gathering, Kim has toured military and economic facilities across the isolated state, from a cruise missile launch site to a large-scale greenhouse farm, to highlight his accomplishments. The Congress is expected to open an undisclosed date later this month. It will deliver a verdict on the current 5-year development push and outline future priorities. A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng, with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 16 and 18 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 28.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 East. This is as you approach the Reading interchanges due to an accident there. And then there's also queuing traffic on the N12 West. This is now as you head towards areas like Bedfordview and Germiston. An accident reported there. It's right near Jet Park Road. It's causing delays.
The top story this hour: some opposition parties believe President Cyril Ramaphosa's order for a fresh round of vetting for senior SAPS and Metro Police officials is an admission of corruption within law enforcement.
Celebrating the voices that matter. World Radio Day on 702.
You may not know this, but that genius, Albert Einstein, he never wore socks. Which proves that even the smartest people aren't always smart. But you can shop like an absolute genius at DecoFern Furniture, with unbeatable deals on office chairs, desks, and much more. Plus up to 50% off end-of-range items. Work smarter, study smarter, and definitely shop smarter at DecoFern Furniture right now, in store or at decofernsa.co.za.
Mzansi, pick your 6 lucky numbers and play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 57 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Friday. Don't miss out. Play Powerball for an estimated 37 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 20 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old and play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Imagine a holiday where the only thing on the to-do list is to enjoy yourself. With NCL, world-class dining, award-winning entertainment, and a variety of onboard experiences come as standard. So enjoying yourself is easy breezy. We sail to over 400 destinations worldwide, including Europe, the Caribbean, and beyond. Your dream cruise is calling. Visit ncl.com for the best deals or contact your travel agent today. Conditions apply. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here.
The Checkers Extravaganza is now on. Save extra on new deals every week. Like Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink, 2 litres, 2 for 45 Rand. Nestle Mini Chocolate Fun Bags, any 2 for 89 Rand. And Clover Butro Full Cream Modified Butter Spread, 500 grams, 2 for 159 Rand. Valid until 15 February 2026. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
Is this part of a reflection, Ferial, of a much deeper national instinct? And maybe it's a national political instinct, which maybe took root in the complacency of the large majority, that you make institutions out of your indecision and indecisiveness.
It's how our country was made, Constitutional Assembly, the talks, the UDF,
Right.
etc. But if you just Google war room, you'll see that it's become an overused utility that in the end has no real function, because you never know what they're doing.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman is proudly brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Money, bongs, money breakfast team. This woman, she's brave, Bongani. She is brave. And we need those kind of leaders in our country. She is so brave. She will die for for the country. She's ready. She's really a woman. Same here at Albertine. Same at Albertine. Oh, she's really brave. I really like the way she's facing his own challenges.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. Good morning, everyone.
This is actually my first time sending a voice note. It's a bit nerve-wracking. It's two things. Nomsama Suku, what a great, what a brave woman, really. Incredibly brave to face danger like that and say, bring it on. Wow. Secondly, I was watching Caesar's podcast yesterday. I came across your episode rather. And you said you're writing a book, but Bongani, when can we expect it? End of business day today, or maybe should we extend the deadline to like next week? But when can we expect that book? Because we need it. Tammy from Batlu, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Tammy, do you work for my publisher or would-be publisher? Yeah, we played you that clip. And for anybody who missed it, this is Nomsama Suku, who is an IPID investigator. She's been looking into the murder of Emmanuel Mbenze. Remember, of course, we've had at least 2 witnesses at the Madlanga Commission who were implicated in his murder. So she's been investigating the police. Now, it's one thing for ordinary officers to investigate criminals, but when investigators live in fear of their lives from criminal police officers, they shot this woman's son and left him wheelchair bound, and yet that didn't stop her, did it?
It didn't stop me from doing my duties. I continued, as I'm continuing even today. So I just wanted to relate to the commissioners and South Africa to say, if they see delays like this in the cases that we do, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Every case has got an explanation as to what is the reason you took that delay. We at IPID that are investigating law enforcement officers. Commissioner, I had in court, because I was scared of the members, I don't want to lie, but I had to put a brave face and face them and said to them, I heard what you're planning. Here's my home address. If you need me, come to my house and find me there. And then I left them. But when I left them, I asked myself as to, if they come, what am I going to do?
Hey? She challenges the suspects. She says, I know what you're planning. I heard about it. You want me? Come. Here's my address. Then, of course, she gets home and sanity takes over and she thinks, oh boy, what am I going to do if they really show up?
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, the weekend, of course, is here, and that means lots of sport to look forward to.
Yes, absolutely. Let's start tonight with the Proteas women. They're playing Pakistan. It's a second T20 in Benoni later, weather permitting, because it's raining, of course. It's a special milestone for Captain Laura Wolfart.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it's been 10 years already. I think the last 4 or 5 years have been so busy, they've gone by in an absolute flash. Yeah, I think I still remember being a 16-year-old making my debut here in Benoni. I was just happy to get a game, let alone, playing for 10 years for my country. Super special. And yeah, it's crazy how far I think I've changed as a cricketer as well.
The match starts at 6 p.m. at the T20 World Cup. Zimbabwe a short while ago, 62 for 1 after 8 overs. They were sent into bat by Australia. After this, Canada, UAE and the Netherlands plays the USA. The Proteas men have a huge game tomorrow. They're playing New Zealand from 3:30. Arsenal are only 4 points clear of Manchester City now after last night's 1-1 draw with Brentford. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta.
We're going to be willing and preparing to win every single match, and the only thing that we can do is focus on that and raise the levels collectively and individually to be better than the opponent every week, and that's going to carry on like this till May, regardless we play before or after that. It's just the things that we have to do. That's the most important thing.
It's the 4th round of the FA Cup this weekend. Tonight, Chelsea against Hull City. Tomorrow, Man City against Salford. Aston Villa play Newcastle. Liverpool up against Brighton. There's also 2 games in the local Betway Premiership. Durban City are hosting TS Galaxy. Magesi take on Arrows. There's huge pressure on Mamelodi Sundowns tomorrow in the CAF Champions League. They must beat MC Alger if they hope to make the knockouts. In Formula 1, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc fastest ahead of McLaren's Lando Norris in pre-season testing in Bahrain. Mercedes and Red Bull suffered technical issues. It's an extended pre-season schedule, allowing teams to adapt to the new units and chassis. Here's Max Verstappen.
You're working with new rules, a new rule set, so there's a lot of attention to detail and a lot of things that we
we still need to get on top of. It's all very complex, and I'm sure that even in the beginning of the season, there's still a lot of things that we will figure out just going along. So yeah, it's good to have the testing here and try to understand everything.
And Six Nations rugby tomorrow. Ireland are playing Italy, followed by England against Scotland. On Sunday, France up against Wales. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. It's a wet Friday. Little change from what we've experienced. A little bit of the heat, or at least a lot of heat this week. Now I've got a little bit of rain.
Absolutely, Bongani. And if you are still traveling on the roads, do remember to keep a safe following distance, drive with care, and avoid speeding. If you are traveling on the N3 South, we've got delays approaching Van Buren Road. An accident has been reported there, and there's also queuing traffic on the M1 South approaching Harton Drive. This is due to peak time delays. Please be on the lookout for more updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Stevie, it's Clinton Myers, the Minister of National Treasures.
Mr. Minister, how can Momentum Insure help you?
This economy is not helping with the cost of my gusheshe, my tires, man.
Just get Momentum Insure's safety returns and get up to 30% cash back, even if you claim.
Is it true?
Stru's Bob, Mr. Minister. Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
This message is brought to you by Eskom, redefining for a better future.
Hey South Africa, want to keep your lights on and save money? Let's use electricity wisely. It's easier than you think. Switch off lights when you leave a room, unplug chargers and appliances, and use energy-saving bulbs. They last longer and use less power. Every little bit helps for your home, your wallet, and our planet.
Let's make it a habit and use electricity wisely. Eskom.
Government has published the draft revised white paper on citizenship, immigration, refugee protection, and now invites the public to submit comments. This policy will shape how immigration, citizenship, and refugee protection are managed in South Africa. Now is your chance to make your voice heard. For more information about the white paper, visit www.dha.gov.za. To submit your comments, email whitepaper@dha.gov.za. Submissions close on 15 February 2026. Have your say. Don't be left behind. Your input matters. Home Affairs, delivering dignity for all.
Hi, this is Carol Shabalala, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. It's more fun when it's for fun. Playing responsibly is always a winning strategy. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
It is, of course, Sona in 60 minutes from 10 o'clock today. Clement will break down what the president had to say yesterday. You were in Cape Town, Clement. You spoke to many of the opposition leaders, and I was intrigued by the fine line many of them, particularly those in the GNU, had to walk, because, of course, they're now at the table where the decisions are being made, and yet they're not quite part of the ANC. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I suppose, and in fact, one of the things they celebrated as I was speaking to them last night was that this is not President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address. So this is a State of the Nation address for the government of national unity. As you know, Bongani, normally the president gets the mandate from his party. That's why you would have an ANC Lekgotla before the State of the Nation address. But this time around, members of the opposition who are in the GNU are saying, this is our product though. So how do we criticize something we have contributed to? We have all agreed that this is how we think the country can move forward. So it's interesting to watch, given how they previously used to react. You remember John Steenhuisen, Rise Mzansi's leader as well, and many others. They were very calm and understanding of the plan that the president outlined.
What I found fascinating is I saw interviews of Athol Trollip, even Julius Malema, who of course are not in the GNU, and even they were muted in their criticism.
Well, I like Julius Malema at least sort of balanced it out. He started with one thing that is good that came out is the fact that finally we see the president deciding to deploy the army to deal with organized crime. But having said that, Julius Malema said that to them is a confirmation and a concession from the president that the SAPS cannot be trusted anymore, and that's why he needs the SNDF to go and supplement their work there. So there seems to be a bit of a balance. There are some good things, even Action SA, as you say, that they pick up from the president, but also they do think that it speaks to a much broader concession.
Sure, of course, there will always be criticism, no doubt, but I just thought I was really intrigued by the fact that even Julius was not as harsh as he sometimes has been of this president. So you'll be unpacking that for us, hey, between 10 and 11.
Yes, between 10 and 11 o'clock, we do Sona in 60 minutes. So I'm going to be joined by EWN political editor, EWN parliamentary reporter Lindsay Dentlinger and the Midday Report host Mandy Wiener. Ordinarily, Bongani, I would actually have the EWN political editor Sidi Madia joining us for this. We've done it for years. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our relationship feature. Today, we're discussing how to work through the hard seasons of your relationship.
The what seasons?
Hard. So when things are hard in your relationship, what do?
I thought you said heart seasons. I thought, what's a heart season?
Well, maybe it's the seasons your heart goes through.
Your hard heart goes through.
Yes.
Clement Manyetela on your radio between 9 and 12.
When the brightest brains collide in the biggest general knowledge quiz in Gauteng, it's time for the Brain of 702.
Let's play the Brain of 702. Time to put on your brilliance on display. Prove your mental might for your chance to win a share of 130,000 Rand. You can win 1,500 Rand this round, another 1,500 Rand if you win at the end of the day on 702 Drive. Of course, the winner this afternoon will be the Brain of the Week. So they will walk away with 10,000 Rand as the weekly Brain. So whoever standing at the end of this afternoon walks away with that 10,000 Rand prize. Plus, of course, whatever they will have won till that point. Ultimately, 30,000 Rand is what's up for grabs should they become the Brain of 702. Let's meet our two contestants. Firstly, we've got John, who's already lasted for 2 rounds. John, how are you feeling?
Well, in you, Bongs.
How are you feeling?
Excited. I'm excited. I'm a little bit lost for words because I'm focused in the zone.
Okay. So you lasted 2 rounds in 2019 when you last played.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck to you. You know how it works. You've seen this movie before, as have you, Modise.
Yes. Yes, sir.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great.
Do you reckon you will be the Brain of the Week? You'll still be standing?
Let the best man win.
All right, good luck to you both. You know how it works. I've got 15 questions. You must answer as many of them as correctly as you can in 60 seconds. Modise, you will have, of course, the first bite at this cherry, having played with John Pullman yesterday afternoon. And here we go. KG, start the clock.
3, 2, 1.
Spell the word pursuit.
P-U-R-S-U-I-T.
Correct. Complete the saying, good fences make good what?
Good. Please repeat.
Good fences make good what?
Neighbors.
Correct. True or false? A dermatologist is a specialist in treating skin disorders.
True.
Correct. In politics, the leader of Action SA is Herman who?
Mashaba.
Correct. Which team plays Six Nations rugby, Romania or Scotland?
Scotland.
Correct. Does the word bellicose mean fat or aggressive?
Sulking.
Does it mean fat? Does it mean fat or aggressive?
Fat.
Aggressive. Accra is the capital of which African country?
Ghana.
Correct. After which animal is the constellation Aquila named? Eagle or swan?
Eagle.
Correct. The American Secretary of State is Marco who?
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio. Is it in time? I'm looking at the judges. The judges are saying it is not in time, even though it was the correct answer. And so that gives you a total of 7 correct answers, Modise. 7 correct answers. Stay on the line. Let's see. That is usually a competitive score. John, 7 or better is what you have to do. Are you ready?
Let's see.
Let's see indeed. KG, start the clock.
3, 2, 1.
Spell the word eclipse.
ECLIPSE.
Correct. Complete the saying, great what makes great waste?
Skip.
Haste. True or false? An otologist is a special in treating blood disorders.
False.
Correct. In politics, the leader of Build One South Africa is Musi who?
Maimane.
Correct. Which team plays Six Nations rugby, Spain or Ireland?
Ireland.
Correct. Does the word bereft mean deprived or fortunate?
Deprived.
Correct. Abidjan is the largest city in which African country?
Nigeria.
Ivory Coast. After which animal was the constellation Pegasus named? Bear or horse?
Horse.
Correct. The American Secretary of Health is Robert F. who?
Kennedy.
Correct. Which European country was in power in Angola until 1975?
Portugal.
Correct. True or false? The standard, I cannot complete the question. John, it's a very close one. It's a very close one. Modise?
Yes, sir.
John has pipped you to the post, my friend.
Yes,
got
sir.
8 correct answers.
Ah.
That's where we're going to have to leave it with you. But well played until now. John,
Well
that
done,
means
Modise.
you are the winner of this round.
Thank you very much.
You are the brain of the hour. You've won 1,500 Rand. You'll play again with John Polman this afternoon. And if you're still standing after that round, you'll be the brain of the week and win 10,000 Rand. Hey?
Thank you.
All right.
Excited.
Good luck to you. It'll all happen on the afternoon drive later today.
The Checkers Extravaganza is now on. Save extra on new deals every week. Like Steakhouse Classic Beef Rib Kanya Roast for $179.99 per kilo. Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink 2 litres, 2 for 45 Rand. And Ariel Laundry Liquid Detergent 3 litres or capsules, 14, 21 or 30 per pack. Buy any 2 and save 30%. Valid until 15 February 2026. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper or shop on 6060.
The stage, the lights, the crowd, everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with events liability insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on events liability insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
News,
Conversation,
connection.
This is radio. World Radio Day on 702.
We are pawns, but we've been making money since the day that we were born. Got some slow to Christmas and give it up for Lent. My friends are all so cynical, we refuse to keep the faith. We all enjoy the madness, cause we know we're gonna fade away. We got stars directing our fate, and we're praying it's not too late, cause we know we're falling from grace. Millennium, come and have a go if you think you are hot enough. Come and have a go if you think you are hot enough. Millennium, we got stars directing our fate.
Oh man, one of my favorite Robbie Williams hits, Millennium. It is his birthday today. He turns 51. And that's where we're going to leave it for this edition of 702 Breakfast. You have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Be careful of all the monsters. It is Friday the 13th. And a happy Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a Valentine, okay? You'll be my Valentine. See you bright and early on Monday morning. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. IPID Assistant Director for Investigations, Thulani Makakula, is expected to continue his testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. Yesterday, Makakula denied allegations made by retired Ekurhuleni Deputy Commissioner Rivo Spies regarding investigations into the city's police department officials. Makakula addressed cases raised by Spies, including the Brakpan murder of Emmanuel Mbenze and the fitting of blue lights for alleged cartel boss Vusmuzi Kat Madlanga